Hello, everyone, and welcome into the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Today, we're in Joliet, Illinois, and Silver Cross Field as your Washington Wild Things take on the Joliet Slammers in Game 2 of a 3-game series. Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Ziegler, taking you through the entire 2016 Washington Wild Things season. Wild Things won a wild one last night as they took Game 1 from the Joliet Slammers by the final score of 8-7. Gonna have a recap of that one for you coming up. Also, a sit-down with the newest Wild Thing, Chris Grayson. He'll join us here on the Wild Things pregame show. Also, a look at the lineups and the pitching matchup. It's all coming up right here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball and the Wild Things pregame show. Last night, as we said, a wild 8-7 game. Your Wild Things would end up winning that one to take Game 1 and creep just a little bit closer to that first place position. Your Wild Things in second in the Frontier League East now sit 3 back of these first place Joliet Slammers, looking for a series win this morning. Yesterday's game, Andrew Heck in the top of the first started things off with a single. Then Ricky Rodriguez would fly out, and Chris Grayson in his first Wild Things at bat hit an RBI double down the right field line to score Heck and give the Wild Things a 1-0 lead. Then Dave Popkins, next batter, hits a 2-run home run over the left field wall. It was a no-doubt shot off the bat of Popkins, and that gave the Wild Things a 3-0 lead early in the top of the first. Then in the second, the Wild Things back on the board. Kyle Pollock doubled to start things. Then Justin Fox grounded out, and Austin Wobrock an RBI single that drove in Pollock and gave the Wild Things a 4-0 lead. Then Andrew Heck and Ricky Rodriguez would pop out to end the inning. So Wild Things a commanding lead early, but Trevor Foss struggled on this day. He retired the Joliet Slammers 1-2-3 in the first. Then in the second, the Slammers threatened as Mark Flores singled to start things. Then Foss would get a 3-6-1 double play. Rock Shoulders would walk, Jake Gronsky would single, and Casey Fletcher would walk to load the bases before Phil Bates flew out to end the second inning. Then Foss retired the Joliet Slammers 1-2-3 in the third, and in the fourth inning, he got knocked around as 5 straight singles started the inning. Mark Flores singled, Joe Staley singled, then Rock Shoulders an RBI single that scored Flores, Jake Gronsky an RBI single that scored Staley, and then Casey Fletcher drove both Shoulders and Gronsky in with a 2 RBI single of his own, and that made the score 4-4 in the bottom of the fourth. Phil Bates would fly out, Charlie White and Alfredo Rodriguez would also fly out to end that fourth inning. So it's 4-4 going to the bottom of the fifth, and that's when Joliet would take the lead. Mark Flores flew out to start things, and Joe Staley hit into Carter Bell singled to start things, then the fly out by Flores. Staley would hit a fielder's choice to replace Bell at first base before Rock Shoulders came up and delivered an RBI triple down the right field line that gave Joliet a 5-4 lead. The inning would end on a diving catch by Ricky Rodriguez at third base as he robbed Jake Gronsky of a base hit. So it's 5-4 Joliet. Joliet would add on again in the bottom of the sixth inning. 3 straight hits to start the inning as Fletcher, Bates, and White all singled to load the bases with nobody out, and that would be the end of the night for Trevor Foss. Foss struggled, as we said, in total went 5 innings, gave up 7 runs, all earned on 12 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts on the evening. Andrew Wick would come in to relieve him. He got sacrifice flies from Alfredo Rodriguez and Carter Bell. That made the score 7-4 before getting Mark Flores to ground out to end that 6th inning. Then in the top of the 7th, your Wild Things would respawn as Chris Grayson and Dave Popkins back-to-back walks to start things. There were runners at first and third as they tried to pick Chris Grayson off of first base, but the throw ended up going to the Joliet bullpen, and Grayson got all the way to third with nobody out. Popkins walked, and Yezo popped out before Logan Uxa a 3-run home run to the deepest part of the yard over the right field wall, and that tied the score at 7 after 7 innings of play. Then to the top of the 8th, the Wild Things would take the lead. Austin Wobrock would strike out to start things, and Andrew Heck singled, and Ricky Rodriguez singled, and then that would be all for the reliever Tyler Levine. The starter Spencer Medic went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs, all earned, on 6 hits, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts for the right-hander on the hill. Both starting pitchers struggled today. Really, if you were a pitcher in this game not named Andrew Wick or Zach Groats, you kind of struggled in this game because Tyler Levine was pulled. He went 2 1/3, gave up 3 runs, all earned on 3 hits, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Mitchell Osnowitz came in to relieve him, and Chris Grayson hit what looked to be a double play ball as a chopper to second, but Grayson was able to beat it out at first, and it allowed Andrew Heck to score and gave the Wild Things an 8-7 lead. Andrew Wick would retire the Joliet Slammers 1-2-3 in the bottom of that 8th inning, and Wick in total retired all 9 men he faced, went 3 perfect innings, not giving up a run, not walking anybody, and striking out 3. Zach Groats came in to end the game for your Wild Things as Alfredo Rodriguez to ground out. Carter Bell flew out. Mark Flores reached on an error, and Joe Staley grounded out to end the innings. The Wild Things take game 1 of this series by a score of 8-7, looking to take the series here this morning in game 2 of this 3-game series with the Joliet Slammers. We're going to take our first break here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we come back, we'll be joined by Wild Things outfielder Chris Grayson. Keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network, getting you ready for game 2 of 3 between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show, currently joined by the newest Washington Wild Thing, outfielder Chris Grayson. And Chris, what were your emotions when you found out you were signing with the Washington Wild Things?
It was. I had good emotions about it. You know, I know Tony from here. We were with the Rangers together, and we spent some time together. And you know, once I became available, he reached out. You know, there was other teams in the league that were looking at me, but once Tony reached out to me, you know, we just got to talking about the team and the place they were in, you know, mentally and, you know, division-wise, and, you know, it just seemed like a good fit for me.
And you've played, as you said, 4 years in the Texas Rangers organization. Also, you played 2 years in the American Association, now here in the Frontier League. After your first game, if there are any differences that you've noticed between the 3 different leagues that you've played in?
I mean, not really. It's early to tell, but at the same time, you know, I got to understand, you know, these pitchers are, you know, mid-season form. They're kind of got their routines established. So, you know, last night I just had to come in and see what they really throw at me and just be patient and play my game and just do what I'm used to doing.
And in your first at-bat for the Wild Things, you get your first extra base hit, your first RBI. How did it feel to get your first hit, your first RBI out of the way early on?
Oh, you know, any hitter will tell you, you know, that first one's important. You get that first one out the way, it makes it easier to relax and then just, you know, focus in. Because, yeah, nerves were high. It was my first game in about a week. You know, I've taken some time off. But, yeah, you get that first one out the way, it just makes everything easier.
And also in the top of the 8th inning, you ended up driving in the game-winning run, that ground ball to second base. What are you thinking as you're running down the line trying to beat out that throw from second base?
Well, I knew once I chopped it, I was going to be there. But just as a, you know, anything I put in play, I'm that guy. I could pop it up to the pitcher. I bust my butt to first. But, you know, just in that situation, you know, they brought in a good velo guy. He was throwing about 94. You know, he blew one fastball by me, and I just told myself, all right, shorten up. Don't try to do too much. Just put the ball in play and use your wheels. Get that run in from third.
And jumping into a big series like this, you two are the top 2 teams here in the Frontier League East. How do you handle the emotions of coming into a big game like this in a big series?
Me, myself, I treat it like it's opening day, just any other game. Just control what you can control and let the outcome control it. Because, heck, I didn't know they were first place. I didn't know we were second place. I just showed up. And now that I know that, you know, how we played yesterday looks like first and second place type teams. And the atmosphere was great. You know, guys were competitive. And I loved it. I love to compete.
And finally, being around these guys for the first 2 days, what's it been like getting to know this Washington Wild Things team? I know we have a lot of great guys on the team who gel together. What's it been like getting to know them?
I feel like I've been here all year. Like, it's nobody treated me like the new guy, you know, as people say. And, you know, I'm always that vocal guy. I like to talk. I like to have fun. And they accepted me right away as I accepted them.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck today.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers, Expect an expert.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Wild Things winning last night by a score of 8-7, coming back out here this morning to try to take this 3-game series and get the series win. The Joliet Slammers line up like this in the outfield left to right. It's Phil Bates, Charlie White, and Rock Shoulders. Left side of the infield held down by Jake Gronsky and Alfredo Rodriguez. Right side by Carter Bell and Mark Flores. Behind the plate, Casey Fletcher. Catching today's starter, Shane Bryant. Bryant enters this one with a record of 2-1, a 3.11 ERA. Making his fourth start of the season, appearing in his fourth game. Has thrown 17 and a third innings pitched, giving up 7 runs, 6 earned on 12 hits, 10 strikeouts, and 7 walks for Bryant on the year. The Wild Things lineup he'll face looks like this. They lead off with their center fielder, Andrew Heck. Batting second at third base, Ricky Rodriguez. Hitting third in left field, Chris Grayson. Batting fourth and right, Dave Popkins. Hitting fifth, designated hitter, Grant Fink. Batting sixth at first base, Logan Uxa. Hitting seventh and catching, Alex McKeon. Batting eighth at second, Justin Fox. And batting ninth at shortstop, Austin Wobrock. On the mound for your Washington Wild Things is Chase Cunningham. Cunningham enters this one with a record of 2-4 and a 2.68 ERA. Wild Things come into this one second place in the Frontier League East with a record of 24-21. The Joliet Slammers currently occupy the top spot in the Frontier League East. Their record at 28-19. Wild Things 3 games back, looking to gain another game this morning as the game was pushed back an hour due to rain that came through the area earlier this morning, but you wouldn't be able to tell now. Very clear skies, sunny all around, not a cloud around. So an hour later, we are ready for baseball. Original start time for this game scheduled for 11:05 Eastern, but we're going to get underway here at about 12:05 Eastern time as Andrew Heck making his way to the plate to lead things off. Heck comes into this one hitting .266, no home runs, and 8 RBIs. Ready for Game 2 of 3 between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Shane Bryant on the mound for the Joliet Slammers, making his 4th start of the year, was signed last month by the Joliet Slammers. 2-1 record so far, that 3.11 ERA. So he's been pretty good for the Joliet Slammers. See if the Wild Things can get to him today. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the first pitch. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. First pitch thrown today at 12:06 p.m. Eastern time. And the temperature outside about 80 degrees. First pitch time and temperature brought to you by State Line Grocery and Hot Spot. Bryant set in the 0-1. And that one's on the outside corner as well. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count to start the game against Andrew Heck. Last night, neither pitcher could really find the strike zone on a consistent basis in the game. Here's the pitch, and that one's inside for a ball. Count goes to 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Andrew Heck out there in center field as he is taken over for Jamal Austin, who retired last week. Shane Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Heck takes this one outside. Count goes even at 2-2. With Heck in the leadoff spot the last couple days, we've seen him be a lot more patient at the plate, taking his time, making that opposing pitcher throw a lot of pitches to start a game. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the 2-2. And Heck lines this one foul back towards the screen. Count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. 5-pitch at bat to start the game so far for Andrew Heck, as he's looking to make the opposing pitcher, Shane Bryant, work. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the 2-2. And this ball's also fouled away back behind the seats. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. And this is what you want to see out of your leadoff hitter. Make the opposing pitcher throw a lot of pitches. Get that pitch count up there so you can get him out of the game later on. Bryant shakes off the first and second signs. Now has one he likes. Here's the 2-2. And that one's a called strike 3. Andrew Heck strikes out. And that's the first out here in the top of inning number 1. Ricky Rodriguez on his way to the plate. Rodriguez enters today, currently hitting .277 with 5 home runs and 16 RBIs. Rodriguez second on the team with that .277 average and currently tied for second, is second in home runs with 5. As Dave Popkins tied Jimmy Yezzo for the team lead with his home run last night. Here's the pitch. And Rodriguez takes outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out here in the top of the first, just underway from Silver Cross Field in Joliet, Illinois, between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Bryant has his sign, the 1-0, and this one grounded to left field, and it's off the glove of Rodriguez for a base hit. Alfredo Rodriguez, a diving try to get that ball. He can't get to it, and it's a single for Ricky Rodriguez with 1 out here in the top of the first. That'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson in his first game with the Wild Things went 1 for 3 last night with an RBI double, so hitting .333, no home runs, and 1 RBI on the season for Grayson. He also walked twice in last night's game in that 1 for 3 outing, and also stole his first base for the Wild Things. 1 out, top of the first, runner on first for your Washington Wild Things. Ricky Rodriguez stands over there, and Chris Grayson coming to the plate. Just underway here, game 2 of 3 between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Bryant has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Grayson takes this one for a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. Grayson signed yesterday afternoon from the Sioux City Canaries of the American Association. Hit .229 with the Canaries. Bryant set. Here's the 0-1. And Grayson takes this one outside. Count goes even at 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count, and in his at-bats yesterday, Grayson, a very patient hitter, waiting for his pitch, and wants something he can drive. Bryant set, and the 1-1. Grayson takes this one low as well, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. As Grayson going ahead here of Shane Bryant. Good hitters count with Ricky Rodriguez at first. No steals for Rodriguez over there. Bryant has his sign, and the 2-1. And Grayson pops this one up. Foul territory off to the left. Fletcher going over, being called off by Gronsky, and Gronsky will make the catch. That is out number 2. 2 away here in the top of the first, and that'll bring the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins on the year is currently hitting .287, 6 home runs, and 18 RBIs. Tied for the team lead in home runs and the team leader in average so far this season. 2 outs, top of the first. No score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Bryant has his sign, checks first, and the pitch. And Popkins, a ground ball towards second. It'll be handled by Bell and a throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. No runs in the inning for the Wild Things on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After half an inning of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, Joliet Slammers coming to bat. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School, lead don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the first, and the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, Joliet Slammers coming to bat. The Wild Things aligned defensively like this in the outfield left to right. It's Chris Grayson, Andrew Heck, and Dave Popkins. Left side of the infield held down by Ricky Rodriguez and Austin Wobrock. Right side by Justin Fox and Logan Uxa. And it's Alex McKeon behind the plate, catching tonight's starter, Chase Cunningham. Cunningham enters this one with a record of 2-4, a 2.68 ERA. Cunningham is making his 9th start of the year, appearing in his 9th game. Has thrown 47 innings of work, giving up 15 runs, 14 earned on 41 hits, 10 walks, and 20 strikeouts on the season for Cunningham. The lineup he'll face for these Joliet Slammers looks like this. They'll lead off with their center fielder, Charlie White. Batting second at shortstop, Alfredo Rodriguez. Hitting third at second base, Carter Bell. Batting fourth at first base, Mark Flores. Hitting fifth in right field, Rock Shoulders. Batting sixth at third, Jake Gronsky. Hitting seventh and catching, Casey Fletcher. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, Melvin Rodriguez. And batting ninth in left field is Phillip Bates. As Chase Cunningham finishing up his warm-up tosses. Game 2 of a 3-game series. Wild Things winning a wild one, 8-7 last night. I'd like to remind you, your Wild Things return home this Friday, July 8th, as they start a 3-game series with the Schaumburg Boomers. July 8th, 9th, and 10th. And then we will go to the All-Star break. Cicada Night on July 9th and a Kids Day on July 10th. So a lot going on at the ballpark this weekend. Come out and support your Washington Wild Things as they take the field at Consol Energy Park. Charlie White making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the first inning. White comes into this one hitting .279, 4 home runs, and 18 RBIs. The center fielder for the Joliet Slammers. Chase Cunningham, the loss his last time, or didn't get a decision his last time out, but went 6 scoreless innings in a doubleheader as he did not allow a run in 6 innings. His first pitch is outside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Charlie White as Cunningham's been a victim of no run support. Got 0 runs of support in that 6-inning shutout. As here's the 1-0. And this one's pop foul. Count goes to 1-1. Actually got 1 run of support, in his last outing before Zach Groats came in to try to save it in the 7th, and it was his first blown save of the year. 1 ball, 1 strike here on the first batter of the game, Charlie White. Cunningham looks in. Has his sign of the pitch. This one hit down the left field line, and that one will go foul, so the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes here on Charlie White. The leadoff man for the Joliet Slammers. Bottom of the first, no score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham's 1-2, and that one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Cunningham on the season currently has 20 strikeouts in his 47 innings of work. Good for 4th place on the team behind Trevor Foss, Matt Frauden, and Zach Groats. The 2-2, and this one grounded to second. Justin Fox will handle it, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 4-3 on the putout, and there's 1 away here in the top of the first. That'll bring up the shortstop, Alfredo Rodriguez. Rodriguez in this one, coming into today, currently hitting .289, 1 home run, and 17 RBIs from that shortstop position. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Game 2 of a 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Currently scoreless. Cunningham's pitch, and that one's up and outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count for Chase Cunningham, a ground ball pitcher for your Washington Wild Things. Likes to pound the strike zone and get ground balls when he can. Here's the 1-0, and that one's outside as well. 2 balls and no strikes here to Alfredo Rodriguez. 2-0 the count from sunny Silvercross Field. Had a lot of rain move through the area earlier, as it's been raining since 5:30 this morning. The rain cut out at about 10 a.m. Central Time, and they got the field ready for this 11:05 start. That pitch is called a strike. 2 balls and a strike on Alfredo Rodriguez. The 2-1, and that's in the dirt for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Cunningham does have 10 walks in those 47 innings of work, so pretty good on the control for Chase Cunningham. Looking not to walk this man here. The 3-1, and that one's high, ball 4. So he does end up walking Alfredo Rodriguez. He reaches base with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. And that'll bring up the second baseman, Carter Bell. Bell on the year is currently hitting .347, 6 home runs, and 44 RBIs. Bell, one of 2 starters in the All-Star game on this Joliet team. Carter Bell and Mark Flores each getting the start in the Frontier League All-Star game. Bell will be starting at second. Flores will be starting at first. For your Wild Things, they have a starter on the All-Star team as well, as Dave Popkins will be starting in the outfield. Cunningham has his sign, checks first in the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Carter Bell. 1 out here in the bottom of the first, no score. Joliet has a runner on with nobody out after the walk. Cunningham set, throw over to first, and Alfredo Rodriguez just beating that pickoff throw over there. A very good move by Chase Cunningham, has just missed getting him at first base. Alfredo Rodriguez, 13 stolen bases in 47 games over there at first base. Another quick throw, and this time Rodriguez was ready for it as he gets back easily. No balls and 1 strike. Cunningham, 2 very good moves over there to start the game. Gives Alfredo Rodriguez something to think about, as he's definitely shortened his lead after those last 2 throws over. Cunningham's 0-1, and this ball hit the center field. Andrew Heck a couple steps back, and he will make the catch for out number 2. 2 away here in the bottom of inning number 1, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Mark Flores. Flores comes into the day hitting .295, 9 home runs, and 41 RBIs. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. The battle of the top 2 teams here in the Frontier League East. Wild Things took game 1 last night by a score of 8-7, a back-and-forth offensive game. And we'll see what today's game has in store. Cunningham set, and the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Mark Flores. He's playing first base today for the Joliet Slammers, an all-star. Will be starting at first base for the Frontier League East all-star team. Cunningham has his sign. He's set. Throw over to first, and Rodriguez again just gets back in there ahead of the throw by Cunningham. It's a quick tag applied by Logan Uxa over there at first base, but just not in time to get Alfredo Rodriguez. Cunningham has his sign and the 1-0. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on the first baseman for the Joliet Slammers. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. And Chase Cunningham has been doing just as well, really, this season as Trevor Foss. Just has not gotten the run support that Foss has. This one lined into right field, and that'll be a base hit. Alfredo Rodriguez heading to third. The throw comes in, and he'll get there. So it's a single for Mark Flores as he reaches first, and Alfredo Rodriguez moves over to third with 2 men out, and that'll bring up Rock Shoulders, the right fielder. Shoulders on the year, 179, no home runs, 6 RBIs, playing in game number 9 of the season for the Joliet Slammers. Shoulders activated off of the suspended list by the Joliet Slammers a week ago. 2 men out, runners at first and third. The first hit of the day for the Joliet Slammers. Alfredo Rodriguez stands at third. He walked, and now Mark Flores at first after he singled. Cunningham has his sign, checks Rodriguez. Here's the pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Rock Shoulders. Shoulders drove in 2 in yesterday's game. An RBI single and an RBI triple for Shoulders. Cunningham has his sign and the 1-0. And Shoulders fouls this one back to the screen. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Your umpires for this afternoon's game. Behind home plate, Jim Scaly, and on the bases, Michael Mogen. Just a flip-flop of the umpires from last night's game. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men out, bottom of the first, no score. Cunningham has his sign. He's set, and the 1-1. And this one grounded foul. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Rock Shoulders. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. As Cunningham looking for a clean first inning, just giving up the hit and the walk so far. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, he's set, and now he'll step off as time is called behind home plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alex McKeon back there getting his first start in about a week. Kyle Pollock, now the primary catcher for your Washington Wild Things, has reduced McKeon to a backup role. Cunningham's 1-2. And this one lined over the head of Justin Fox into right field for a base hit. Scoring is Alfredo Rodriguez, and on the RBI single, the Joliet Slammers take a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Justin Fox did about all he could do to try to corral that ball, but unfortunately, he could not make the catch, and it was over his head into right field for the base hit. That'll bring up the third baseman, Jake Gronsky. Gronsky on the year, currently hitting .234, 4 home runs, and 26 RBIs. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Joliet now leads this one 1-0 over your Washington Wild Things here from Silver Cross Field after that RBI single. Cunningham looking in, has his sign, he's set. Checks second, here's the pitch. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Gronsky. A run in on the RBI single by Rock Shoulders. His 3rd RBI of the series as he stands at first base with 2 men out. Mark Flores at second. He singled as well. Cunningham set in the 0-1. And a wave and a miss by Jake Gronsky. And the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on the Joliet third baseman. Has played third base in all 10 games against the Wild Things so far this season. 2 outs, bottom of the first. Chase Cunningham looking in. Has his sign, checks second, and the 0-2. And Gronsky hits this one down the right field line. It's hooking and will land foul behind the Joliet bullpen. The count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Jake Gronsky out at third base. 2 outs. Joliet leads 1-0. An RBI single by Rock Shoulders driving in the first run of the game. It's Shoulders' third RBI of the series as he drove in 2 in last night's game. Cunningham looks in to Alex McKeon. Has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2 pitch. And this one fouled off down the left field line. That one will go back behind the seats as well. And the count will remain 0-2. Battle brewing here between Chase Cunningham and Jake Gronsky. The 5th pitch of the at-bat coming up. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Here in the bottom of inning number 1. Cunningham has his sign, checks second, and the 0-2. And this one hit towards center field. Andrew Heck going back to the track, and he can't make the catch. It's off his glove. Flores will score. He coming around third, his shoulders. He will score as well. And now Joliet leads 3-0 as Jake Gronsky gets in there at second. 2 runs have come in. We'll see if they give him a hit or an error. Heck having to go a long way back on that ball and just can't make the catch. They do give him a hit. So it is a double and 2 RBIs for Jake Gronsky, and the Joliet Slammers jump out to a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of inning number 1. That'll bring up the catcher, Casey Fletcher. Fletcher comes into this one inning 250, no homers and 8 RBIs. 3 runs for the Slammers in the bottom of the first. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here to Casey Fletcher. Chase Cunningham not the start he wanted, giving up 3 runs here in the first inning against Joliet. Cunningham has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And that one's a called strike on the inside corner. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 men out here in the bottom of the first. 3-0. The Joliet Slammers lead your Washington Wild Things. Cunningham has his sign. He's set, checks second, the 1-1. And that one's in the dirt. Cunningham now falling behind 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 hits in the inning, 2 singles and a double have all driven in runs. Cunningham looks, and now he'll step off as he went to check second. His time was called at the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs here on Casey Fletcher. Cunningham has his sign. He's set in the 2-1. And this one hit towards left field. Grayson going back on it, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. However, 3 runs come in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 1 inning of play, the score, the Joliet Slammers 3, Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, and going to the top of the second, the score, Joliet 1, your Washington Wild Things nothing. As we're going to the top of inning number 2, Wild Things sent 4 men to the plate. Did get 1 hit in that first inning as Ricky Rodriguez singled. Andrew Heck would strike out, Chris Grayson would pop out, and Dave Popkins would ground out to end the inning. Due up here in the second, Grant Fink, Logan Uxa, and Alex McKeon, 5, 6, and 7, facing off against the starting pitcher, Shane Bryant. And it takes Bryant a long time to get to the field, just now taking the field for his warm-up tosses through 14 pitches in that first inning against the Washington Wild Things, now facing them here in the bottom of inning number 2. Hey fans, you know you can receive $100 when you open a new checking account with Clearview Federal Credit Union. Visit them at clearviewfcu.org today for more details. Shane Bryant back out there for his second inning of work. Game 2 of 3 between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Wild Things taking game one from Joliet last night by a final score of 8-7. Currently down here in this one by a score of 3-0. Coaching on the bases for your Washington Wild Things. At first base, hitting coach Mike Marshall, and at third base, it's manager Greg Langben. Grant Fink making his way to the plate to start things here in the top of inning number 2. Fink comes into this one hitting 193, 3 home runs, and 11 RBIs, occupying the designated hitter spot today. As that spot held by Jimmy Yezzo last night. Yezzo getting the day off here in game 2 of this series with Joliet. Shane Bryant looking in, has his sign, he's set, here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Grant Fink, and for Shane Bryant, as we said, came into this game with a record of 2-1, has his sign, here's the pitch. And that one's low as well. Count goes to 2-0 on Grant Fink. 10 strikeouts and 7 walks for Bryant in 17 innings of work. So not a very high strikeout or walk rate. Here's the 2-0, and that one's inside, ball 3. 3 straight balls to Grant Fink to start this top of the second inning. The DH for the Washington Wild Things. Bryant set in the 3-0, and that one's high, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk starts things here for the Wild Things in the top of the second as they have the leadoff man reach, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Logan Uxa. Uxa comes into today hitting .281, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs. Had the game-tying shot in the top of inning number 7, a 3-run home run over the right field wall. It was his second home run of the season as he drove in 3 for the Wild Things. Was also had 2 other hits on the day. Bryant set, checks first in the pitch, and that one's low to Uxa for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. 5 straight balls here to start this inning for Shane Bryant on the mound for the Joliet Slammers. Bryant has not yet faced the Washington Wild Things this season. Bryant has his sign. He's set. Checks first. Here's the pitch. And Uxa takes this one for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the Wild Things first baseman. Uxa's been getting the majority of the time out there at first base. When he was first signed, him and Yezzo were splitting time out there. Bryant quick throw over to first, and Grant Fink gets back in there. Count on Uxa 1-1 here as he's facing off against the Joliet Slammers. And the next pitch is low in the dirt. It gets away from Fletcher, and Grant Fink will move up on the wild pitch. 2-1 the count. Now on Logan Uxa. Wild pitch gets Grant Fink up to second base now with nobody out. So 2-1 the count. And Logan Uxa at the plate facing off against Shane Bryant. Bryant looks in to Casey Fletcher. Bryant has his sign. He's set. Checks Fink at second. And here's the pitch. And Uxa to right center field. Going over, and they're not going to make the catch. It bangs off the wall. Fink around third. He will score. Uxa's thinking 3. Here comes the throw, and Uxa in there with the RBI triple. Your Wild Things get on the board. It's 3-1. Here in the on the top of inning number 2. Grant Fink scores. Uxa got all of that ball, lined into the right center field gap, and gets the Wild Things on the board. His 4th RBI of the series as he gets an RBI in his first base hit of the day. That'll bring up the catcher Alex McKeon. McKeon enters this one hitting 193, a homer, and 5 RBIs. 3-1 the score after the RBI triple by Logan Uxa, and McKeon at the plate. Bryant set. Here's the pitch. And McKeon takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things catcher. RBI triple for Logan Uxa has him at third base with nobody out. Bryant set. Here's the 0-1. And McKeon takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Bryant, 14 pitches in that first inning. Already 10 so far here in the second. Bryant checks third. Here's the 1-1. And McKeon fouls this one away back towards the screen. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. McKeon hasn't seen much action for your Washington Wild Things. Ever since Kyle Pollock has been activated from the disabled list, McKeon has been reduced to a backup role. McKeon, a product of the Boston Red Sox. Shane Bryant looking into Casey Fletcher. Bryant has his sign. Checks third. Here's the 1-2. And McKeon, it hits him. Hits him right on the jersey, so a hit by pitch, and now there are runners at the corners here with nobody out. It's a 4-pitch at-bat for Alex McKeon, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Justin Fox. Fox enters this one, currently hitting 103, no home runs, and 1 RBI. Back-to-back starts at second base. We'll be getting the majority of the starts out there as Brian Harr retired from the Washington Wild Things. Casey Fletcher going out in front of the plate to relay the signs to the rest of the infielders for the Joliet Slammers. Runners at first and third, nobody out. Logan Uxa standing at third, and Alex McKeon at first base. Bryant looking in, has his sign. He's set, checks third. Here's the pitch. And Fox takes outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Fox not much playing time this year for the Washington Wild Things, at least early on in the season, as he's playing in his 16th game for the Wild Things today. The 1-0, and that one's a called strike on the outside corner this time. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Wild Things second baseman. Uxa stands at third, McKeon at first. Bryant has his sign, and the 1-1. And a swing and a miss by Fox. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, runners at first and third. Uxa stands at third after he tripled with nobody out to score Grant Fink. Alex McKeon hit by a pitch at first base. Bryant has his sign, and the 1-2. And Fox takes a called strike 3, and he strikes out here for out number 1. Second strikeout of the day for Shane Bryant, and that'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. With 1 out and 2 men on, Wobrock enters this one, currently hitting .203 with a homer and 8 RBIs. Drove in 1 of his team's 8 runs in last night's ball game. 1 out here in the bottom of the top of the second, a run in on the Logan Uxa RBI triple. Bryant has his sign, the pitch, and a swing and a miss by Wobrock. No balls and a strike. Big swing there by Austin, but he comes up empty. 3-1, the Joliet Slammers lead your Washington Wild Things here in the top of the second. A run coming in on the RBI triple by Logan Uxa. Bryant has his sign, the 0-1, and that one's fouled off at the plate. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on Austin Wobrock, the 5th man to come to the plate here in the second inning. As it started off with a walk to Grant Fink, then Logan Uxa tripled him in. Alex McKeon hit by a pitch, and Fox struck out. Bryant's 0-2. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Austin Wobrock, the number 9 hitter in this Wild Things order. Bryant has his sign, and the 1-2. And that one's outside. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Bryant, 4 pitch at-bats here in the second inning to start the inning. Currently 4 pitches to Wobrock. Bryant has his sign, and the 2-2. And this one lined down the left field line and foul. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wobrock gave that one a ride, but unfortunately falls foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Wind blowing out to right field here in Joliet. Bryant has his sign, checks first. Here's the 2-2. And this one grounded towards second. A diving try by Belly, can't get it. Uxa scores. McKeon's going to head to third, and he'll be in there. An RBI single for Austin Wobrock, and your Wild Things cut the lead to 1 now. It is 3-2. After giving up 3 runs in that first inning, the Wild Things scoring 2 here in the top half of the second. Uxa and Fink scoring, still 1 out, and runners at the corners for your Washington Wild Things. That brings up the center fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck on the day 0 for 1 so far, and in last night's game, Heck would end up going 2 for 4, 2 singles, a pop out, a strikeout, and a walk. First pitch taken for a strike by Andrew Heck, and the count goes to 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the second, 2 runs in for the Wild Things. As the score right now is Joliet 3, Wild Things 2. That tying run stands at third base here in the top of the second. Bryant looking in, has his sign, here's the 0-1. And this ball hit towards right field. It's hooking and will go foul over by the lawn area. The count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes on Andrew Heck, the everyday center fielder for the Washington Wild Things. And in that leadoff spot since the retirement of Jamal Austin. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bryant has his sign and the 0-2. And that one's outside for a ball. Fletcher was going to throw a snap throw to first, but he lost the handle on the baseball, as he'll just drop it and look Wobrock back to first. Alex McKeon standing on third. Austin Wobrock over there at third. Wobrock at first, McKeon at third. Bryant has his sign. He's set. And the 1-2 pitch. And Heck to center field. Going back a couple steps is White. He's going to make the catch. McKeon tagging. Here comes the throw, and it will be cut off. Your Wild Things tied this one up on the sacrifice fly by Andrew Heck. McKeon scores, and it's now 3-3. So as quickly as the Joliet Slammers take the lead, that's how quickly they lose it, as 3 runs come to the top of the second, and now a tie game, 2 outs and a runner at first, and that'll bring up Ricky Rodriguez, the third baseman for your Washington Wild Things. One of 4 All-Stars for the Wild Things on the season. Rodriguez in last night's game was, went 1 for 4, a single, a walk, a fly out, a strikeout, and a pop out. He took the first pitch for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Bryant set, and the 1-0. And Rodriguez takes this one inside as well, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Wild Things forcing Bryant to throw a lot of pitches here in this second inning. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the 2-0. And Rodriguez breaks his bat as this one is lofted into left field for a base hit. Rodriguez, second hit of the day. Throw to third is not going to be in time to get Austin Wobrock. It's skipped by the third baseman. A single for Ricky Rodriguez, and now there are runners at the corners with 2 men out, and that will bring up Chris Grayson, the left fielder. Grayson on the day 0 for 1. Played in his first Wild Things game last night and went, went 1 for 4 in the 1 for 3 in the contest, a double, an RBI, a run scored. Also grounded out, walked twice, and hit into a fielder's choice in the contest. Meeting on the mound here between the pitching coach, Chris Grayson, trying to give the Wild Things the lead. Drove in his first Wild Things RBI last night in his first at-bat, an RBI double that would score Andrew Heck and give the Wild Things an early lead. Looking to give them the lead here again in the top of inning number 2. 3 runs in already, and the score Joliet 3 and your Washington Wild Things 3. But runners are at the corners as Austin Wobrock stands at third and Ricky Rodriguez stands at first base. With Grayson coming to the plate. Grayson played for the Sioux City Canaries before being signed yesterday. Was out of baseball for about a week and now back in. Bryant looks in, has his sign, and the pitch. And Grayson, ground ball right to second. Carter Bell will handle it, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. However, 3 runs come in for the Wild Things in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 1.5 the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
First in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the bottom of the second, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. His last inning, Joliet scoring 3 runs against starter Chase Cunningham. Cunningham would end up giving up 3 hits in that inning to the Joliet Slammers, as it would start off with a ground out by Charlie White. Then Alfredo Rodriguez would walk and score a run. Carter Bell flew out for the second out of the inning before Mark Flores singled and scored a run. Then Rock Shoulders, an RBI single, drove in Flores. Jake Gronsky, a 2 RBI single, scored Shoulders and Flores. And then Fletcher flew out to end the inning. They scored 3 in the first. Due up this inning against Chase Cunningham, Melvin Rodriguez, Phil Bates, and Charlie White, 8, 9, and 1, facing Chase Cunningham. Cunningham had to throw 28 pitches in that first inning, so looking for a much more effective inning here in the second. As making his way to the plate is Melvin Rodriguez. Rodriguez enters this one currently hitting .234, 3 home runs, and 16 RBIs. Rodriguez stepping in here against Chase Cunningham. As they just had a fireman race on the field, they're trying to get all that off the field. And now we are ready for baseball. Cunningham facing off against Melvin Rodriguez. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Cunningham in that first inning had trouble with falling behind hitters, especially early on. We'll see if he can fix that here in the second. Here's the 1-0. And this ball popped up. Behind home plate, Alex McKeon going back on it. And McKeon will make the catch in front of the screen for out number 1. A 2-pitch out here to start the second inning. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Phil Bates. Bates on the year currently hitting .243, 3 home runs, and 9 RBIs. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Bates was in left field for last night's game as well. Stepping in here facing Chase Cunningham. Cunningham making his 9th start of the year. 6 shutout innings his last time. Has given up 3 runs and 1 1/3 innings so far in this contest. Cunningham has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Bates takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. The number 9 hitter in the Joliet order. The battle of the top 2 teams resulted in the Wild Things winning game 1 8-7. And currently the game tied 3-3. Here's the 0-1. And that one's in the dirt. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Phil Bates out there in left field today for the Slammers. Cunningham's 1-1. And this one lined foul back behind the stadium. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Phil Bates. Out there in left field, Chase Cunningham on the mound for your Washington Wild Things. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, the 1-2. And that one's on the outside, off the outside corner for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Phil Bates. Cunningham has his sign, the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Cunningham strikes him out. And that's out number 2 here in the bottom of inning number 2. Cunningham's first strikeout of the day. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Charlie White. White 0 for 1 so far. Grounded out in his first at-bat. Last night went 1 for 5. Singled, also flew out, grounded out twice, and popped out in the 8-7 loss. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. A much cleaner inning for Cunningham so far in the second. Cunningham looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's fouled away back into the seats, and the count goes to 0-1. No balls and a strike on Charlie White, up for the second straight inning as he led off the game, now batting here in the second. Seven men came to the plate in the first inning against Chase Cunningham. So far, 2 up, 2 down here in the second. Cunningham has his sign, the 0-1. And that one's way inside, and did it get a piece of him? Yes, it did, as Charlie White will make his way down to first base and hit by pitch. First man that Cunningham's hit on the day. And there's a runner on with 2 men out, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Alfredo Rodriguez. In the second inning, you saw Alex McKeon get clipped on the jersey, and now Charlie White gets hit in the knee, and he'll be on first with 2 men out. That'll bring up the shortstop, Alfredo Rodriguez. Rodriguez, no official at-bat right now as he walked and scored a run his first time, but in yesterday's game went 0 for 4 with a sac fly, also grounded out twice, struck out, and flew out. Throw over to first, and Charlie White gets back. For Charlie White at first base, he currently has 17 stolen bases, good for the team lead in 47 games. Another throw over there, and White again getting back in there. No count yet on Alfredo Rodriguez at the plate. A 3-1 walk his last time. Here's the pitch, and that one's a called strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 2 outs here at the bottom of the second. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham checks first, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-1 on the way. After a look over, here it comes. And this one hit down the right field line, hooking, it'll go into the seats, foul, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 men out. Cunningham looking to get out of this inning fairly unscathed. Did allow the hit by pitch, but other than that, looking to get out of the inning. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2. That one's outside. Can't get Alfredo Rodriguez to chase that one. And the count goes to 1-2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Alfredo Rodriguez. Cunningham has his sign, the 1-2. And that one's in the dirt. Nice block by McKeon behind the plate to keep Charlie White right where he is. And the count goes even at 2-2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Here in the bottom of inning number 2 with 2 outs. Cunningham has his sign. He's set, and the pitch. And this one fouled off down the right field line. Count stays at 2-2 strikes. 2-2. 6th pitch of the at-bat coming up here for Chase Cunningham. Facing Alfredo Rodriguez. Here's the 2-2. White taking off for second, and this one's popped up. Foul territory off to the right. Uxa giving chase, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. So no runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and a man left after the hit by pitch. And after 2 innings of play, the score, Joliet 3, your Washington Wild Things 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network. Come out to Consol Energy Park July 8th through the 10th as it's the last home series before the All-Star break. Come support All-Stars Ricky Rodriguez, Dave Hopkins, Trevor Foss, and Zach Gross. There's a buzz around all the action this weekend as the Wild Things take on the Schaumburg Boomers in a 3-game series. The series starts Friday night at 7:05 where it's a fireworks night. Enjoy a Wild Things baseball game and see a spectacular fireworks display after the game. Then on Saturday, the Washington Wild Things will be changing their name to the Washington Cicadas for Cicada Night, brought to you by Orkin. There will also be a ugly Christmas blanket giveaway to the first 1,000 fans. Then the series concludes on Sunday when your Washington Wild Things take on the Schaumburg Boomers at 5:05. It's a kids' day at the park. All kids 12 and under get to run the bases after the game. For tickets, go to www.washingtonwildthings.com or call the box office at 866-456-WILD. Washington Wild Things Baseball, let's get wild. We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things Baseball, going to the top of the 3rd, and the score, your Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Wild Things scored 3 runs last inning. Grant Fink walked to start things, then Logan Uxa an RBI triple. Alex McKeon was hit by a pitch, so first and third with nobody out after a run was already in. Justin Fox would strike out before Austin Wobrock would drive in Logan Uxa with an RBI single that made it 3-2. Andrew Heck's sac fly made it 3-3. And Ricky Rodriguez would single, and Chris Grayson would ground out to end the inning. Popkins at the plate now facing Shane Bryant. Bryant has his sign. The pitch swung on a miss by Popkins. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things right fielder. It's one of the starters in the Frontier League All-Star game, starting out in the outfield for the Frontier League East. Bryant looks in. Here's the 0-1. And Popkins takes this one in the dirt. Count goes even at 1-1 strike. 1-1 the count. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers here in the top of inning number 3. The Wild Things looking to add on here in this inning. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Now has one. He's set in the 1-1. And Popkins takes this one inside for a ball, so Bryant falling behind Popkins, 2 balls and a strike. Bryant, a fairly painless first inning, only throwing 14 pitches, having to throw 31 pitches in that second inning. He's set the 2-1, and that one swung on a miss. Count goes even at 2-2. Popkins going a little bit out of the zone that time to try to get that breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Shane Bryant looking in to Casey Fletcher. Bryant has his sign. He's set, and the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Popkins strikes out, and that's the first out here in the 3rd inning. That'll bring the designated hitter, Grant Fink, to the plate. Fink so far, no official at-bat. Walked his last time up. Did not play in last night's game as Jimmy Yezzo held the DH spot, and Yezzo would end up going 0 for 5 in the contest. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. The 1 and 2 teams here in the Frontier League East, as the Wild Things currently 3 games back of the Joliet Slammers. Wild Things sitting at 24-21, Slammers sitting at 28-19. As Grant Fink making his way to the plate, home plate umpire Scaly having to dust off home plate, as now Grant Fink stepping in. Playing in a natural grass field here in Joliet, which is why the rain was such a problem early on. They had the tarp on the field, and there's still a puddle over in the Washington Wild Things bullpen area, as that one not dried up. But other than that, the field is pretty dry for this morning's game. And right now, manager Jeff Esom out there talking to the home plate umpire, Jim Scaly. Don't know exactly what they were talking about, but now the conversation is over as Esom goes back to his dugout. Grant Fink stepping in, one out again. No official at bat for Grant Fink so far in this one, as he walked his first time up. Here's the pitch from Bryant, and Fink takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the designated hitter for the Washington Wild Things. Bryant has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The designated hitter, Grant Fink for the Wild Things. Bryant looks in, has his sign, and the 1-1. And that one swung on a miss. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. A healthy cut there from Grant Fink, but not able to catch up to that fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bryant looking in, has his sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 man out here in the top of the third. Bryant looking in, has his sign. Here's the 2-2. And this ball fouled away back behind the stadium, and the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count on Grant Fink. Top of the third, 1 man out. Score tied at 3 here in this one. Bryant looking in, has his sign, the 2-2. And Fink lined towards center field, and that'll get down for a base hit. Fink's first hit of the day, second time on base as he walked in the first inning, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Logan Uxa. Uxa currently 1 for 1, RBI triple, and he would also score a run his first time around. In yesterday's game, Uxa would end up going, 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, the 3-run homer, 2 singles, a ground out, and he also walked in that contest. 1 out here in the top of the third. 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Bryant has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Logan Uxa out there at first base today for your Wild Things. Bryant has his sign and the 1-0. And that one's outside as well. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes here on Uxa. Uxa 3 for 4 in game 1 and currently 1 for 1 here in game 2. So having a good start to the series against these Joliet Slammers. Bryant looking in, has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-0. And Uxa checks his swing, but this time takes a strike, and the count goes to 2-1. Having to hold up there, but the ball just did hit the outside corner. Bryant set, throw over to first, and Grant Fink gets back. 3-3 the score here in the top of the third between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Logan Uxa at the plate. Bryant looking in, has his sign, he's set. And the 2-1. And Uxa takes this one for a strike at the knees. Count goes even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count on the Wild Things first baseman. 1 out here in the top of the third. Popkins struck out to lead things off, then Fink singled. He's over at first. Bryant set. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Throw over to first, and Fink gets back. No stolen bases on the season for Grant Fink over there at first base. Not the slowest guy on the team, but definitely not the fastest either. Bryant looks in, has his sign. He's set, and the 2-2 pitch. And Uxa lines this one down the right field line. It's hooking, it'll go foul. So the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count on Uxa. 4 hits in the series for Uxa in the first 2 games. Grant Fink the runner at first with 1 out, and the game tied at 3. Bryant has his sign. He's set. And a throw over there, and Grant Fink is picked off. Fink gets picked off by Bryant, and there are now 2 away here in the top of the third. Nobody on, and Uxa still at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Grant Fink is picked off of first base. Shane Bryant looking in, Bryant has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-2. And this ball popped up on the infield. Camping under it is Carter Bell. He'll be called off by Alfredo Rodriguez, and nobody makes the catch. Alfredo Rodriguez, Carter Bell, and Mark Flores all calling for it, and it falls in the middle of the triangle. So that will be an error. As reaching is Logan Uxa, Mark Flores, Carter Bell, and Alfredo Rodriguez all chasing after that ball, and none of them made the catch as it dropped in there in between them, allowing Uxa to reach. And actually right now they haven't put an error on the scoreboard. We'll see if they do. Right now Uxa at first, and that brings Alex McKeon to the plate. The pitch, and that one's a called strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the catcher, McKeon. Kyle Pollock was behind the plate last night. Pollock would end up going 1 for 5 with a double, also hitting to a fielder's choice. Flew out and popped out twice. The pitch, and McKeon fouls this one off. Count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes on Alex McKeon. 2 outs. As Logan Uxa in first, they actually gave Uxa a hit. So Uxa a single, his second hit of the day as he's on first base. Here's Bryant's 0-2. And a wave and a miss by McKeon, and that will end the inning. No runs in the inning for your Wild Things on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left on. And after 2.5, the score. Your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here in the bottom of inning number 3 from Silver Cross Field in Joliet, Illinois. And the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. Last inning for the Slammers, Melvin Rodriguez popped out to start the inning. Then Phil Bates struck out. Charlie White was hit by a pitch on the knee. And then Alfredo Rodriguez popped out to end the inning. Due up this inning for the Joliet Slammers, Carter Bell, Mark Flores, and Rock Shoulders, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Joliet order. Chase Cunningham going through his warm-up tosses. Had a rough first inning where he threw 28 pitches, and then he threw 15 in the third inning, only facing 4 batters in the inning. So he's due up here pitching in the third inning against the Joliet Slammers. Hey fans, every Thursday night game during the 2016 season is Thirsty Thursday at Consol Energy Park, and it's all being brought to you by Frankie Eyes Bar and Grill, located by the Meadows Casino on Route 19. Join them to enjoy food and drink specials after the game, and don't forget Thursday's special feature is Buck Beverages, both beer and soda, for just $1. As Chase Cunningham going through his warm-up tosses here in the bottom of the third, 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Joliet Slammers here in the bottom of the third. Cunningham, as we said, the rough first inning where he gave up 3 runs, but calmed down in the second and did not give up a run in that one. Carter Bell making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the third. Bell so far 0 for 1, flew out his first time up, and in last night's game ended up going 1 for 4 with a single, also a sac fly, flew out, popped out, and struck out in the ball game. Stepping in here against Chase Cunningham, bottom of the third, 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And the first pitch is popped up. Behind home plate, Alex McKeon looking for it. He can't find it. Chase Cunningham calling. Gets called off by Rodriguez, and nobody makes the catch. The same thing that just happened to the Joliet Slammers happened to the Washington Wild Things. McKeon lost the ball as soon as it reached the air. He couldn't find it. Chase Cunningham was calling for it. Cunningham was called off at the last second by Ricky Rodriguez, and this time they're going to give an error on the play, as it's not a hit for Carter Bell, but it was a hit for Logan Uxa. So Carter Bell reaches on an error, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Mark Flores. Flores currently 1 for 1, singled and scored a run in the first inning. And in last night's game, Flores would go 2 for 5 with 2 singles, reached on an error, flew out, and grounded out in the contest. Nobody out, runner at first after the error. Cunningham looks over. Here's the pitch. And that one's in the dirt, blocked by Alex McKeon. No balls and 1 strike. With this sun-drenched sky here in Joliet, it can be hard to keep track of the baseball up in the air like that. Unfortunately for the Wild Things, they could not make the play. Cunningham checks Bell at first. He's set. Here's the 1-0. And this ball grounded towards the middle. Austin Wolbrock has it on the bag for 1. Throw to first. And it's a double play. 6-3 on the double play. And that eliminates the leadoff base runner. And there are now 2 outs here in the third inning. Austin Wolbrock positioned perfectly. Was playing up the middle. Got that ground ball with his foot on second base. And had plenty of time to throw Flores out at first. Rock Shoulders making his way to the plate. Shoulders so far 1 for 1 with an RBI single. And in last night's game, ended up going 2 for 3. A single, a triple, a pop out, and a walk, and drove in 2 runs. He takes the first pitch on the low outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Rock Shoulders. Cunningham has his sign, the 0-1. Swing and a miss, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on Rock Shoulders. 2 outs, bottom of the third. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham's 0-2 pitch, and time is called as he was going into his windup, and time was called as he did his leg kick. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and this one fouled back to the screen. Count remains 0-2. Shoulders just getting a piece of that one to stay alive for the Joliet Slammers. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Here's the pitch. And that one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Can't get Shoulders to chase that one. Nobody on, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Slammers. Here's the 1-2. And checks his swing. That one's in the dirt as well. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Rock Shoulders. Alex McKeon behind the plate today, making a rare start as Kyle Pollock, the everyday catcher for the Wild Things. And there's a swing and a miss as Shoulders strikes out, and that will end the inning. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And after 3, the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 4th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Last inning for the Washington Wild Things. Dave Popkins struck out to start things, then Grant Fink would single, Logan Uxa would single, and Alex McKeon would strike out to end the inning. Grant Fink was picked off while he was on first base. Due up for the Wild Things here in the 4th, Justin Fox, Austin Wobrock, and Andrew Heck, 8, 9, and 1, facing off against Shane Bryant. Bryant's been taxed in these last 2 innings, throwing a combined total of 51 pitches in the last 2 innings. On the day, has a total of 65 pitches thrown through 3 innings of work. Justin Fox coming to the plate to lead things off for your Wild Things. Fox 0 for 1 with a strikeout in this one so far. And in last night's game would go 0 for 5, striking out twice, grounding out twice, and also popping out in the contest. A fairly efficient inning for Chase Cunningham last inning as he only threw 9 pitches to retire the Joliet Slammers in the 3rd. Fox making his way to the plate here with nobody out. The new everyday second baseman for your Wild Things after the retirement of Haar. Here's the pitch, and Fox takes a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Justin Fox. Top of the 4th, 3-3 your score between the Wild Things and the Slammers. Here's the 0-1, and that one's inside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Justin Fox from New Martinsville, West Virginia. Here's the 1-1. And that one's way inside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. As Bryant falling behind Fox here. Fox, the number 8 hitter in this Wild Things order. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the 2-1. And Fox takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. Count even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Fox looking to get that average up. Currently sits at 103. Here's the 2-2. And Fox lines this one to second, but right at Carter Bell for out number 1. 1 away here in the top of the 4th, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock in this one today is currently 1 for 1 with a single. In yesterday's ball game, Wobrock would go 1 for 4, single, 2 groundouts, and a strikeout. For Shane Bryant, his last time out was against the Windy City Thunderbolts. He got a win when 7 innings, gave up no runs on 5 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. The pitch, and that one's fouled back by Wobrock. No balls and a strike. Currently through 3 1/3, has given up 3 runs, all earned on 6 hits for the Washington Wild Things. Bryant setting the 0-1, and Wobrock down the right field line. It's hooking, and it'll go foul into the lawn area. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on Austin Wobrock, the number 9 hitter in this Wild Things order. Facing off against Shane Bryant. Bryant has his sign, the 0-2. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 on Austin Wobrock. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Bryant's 1-2 pitch. And Wobrock lines this one back to the screen. Count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 here on Austin Wobrock, top of the 4th. What started out a dreary day has turned into a nice sunny day here in Joliet. Bryant's 1-2, and this one's fouled back to the screen as well. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 man out, top of the 4th. Austin Wobrock at the plate. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Wobrock grounds it to second. Carter Bell will handle it, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for your Wild Things here in the 4th, and that'll bring in the center fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far 0 for 1, struck out in the 1st and hit a sac fly RBI in the 2nd inning. 2 outs, top of the 4th. And it's 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Battle of the top 2 teams here in the Frontier League East. Shane Bryant looking in, has his sign, the pitch. And Heck takes this one for a strike, no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. Wild Things 13-9 on the road, so they've been a very good road team this season so far. Here's the pitch. And that one's a called strike as well. No balls and 2 strikes here on Andrew Heck. Their road record, they've got to get that one up. They're 11-12 at Consol Energy Park as compared to 13-9 on the road. Bryant set in the 0-2. And a swing and a foul ball by Heck, so the count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. That one fouling off the first row of seats above the Wild Things dugout. 0-2 the count. 2 men out here in the top of the 4th. Andrew Heck at the plate. Heck, the leadoff man for the Wild Things. Bryant has his sign, the 0-2. Heck checks his swing. Did he go around? No, says the field umpire, so the count will go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Andrew Heck. Trying to make some 2-out magic happen with the game tied at 3 here in the top of the 4th. Bryant looks in. Has his sign from Fletcher. He's set. And the 1-2 pitch. And Heck takes a called strike 3 as he strikes out to end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 4th. And after 3.5 the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the fourth, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Last inning for the Slammers, Carter Bell reached on an error, then Mark Flores a 6-3 double play, and Rock Shoulders struck out to end the inning. Due up this inning against Chase Cunningham, Jake Gronsky, Casey Fletcher, and Melvin Rodriguez. 6, 7, and 8 facing off against Chase Cunningham. Every Friday night's a fireworks night this season at Consol Energy Park. Enjoy a spectacular fireworks display after all Friday night Wild Things home games. The next fireworks night this Friday, July 8th, when your Wild Things start a 3-game series with the Schaumburg Boomers. It's the last home series before the All-Star break, so come out, support your All-Stars. Ricky Rodriguez, Dave Popkins, Zach Groats, and Trevor Foss all making the All-Star team for your Washington Wild Things. Bottom of the fourth, 3-3 the score, as Chase Cunningham finishing up his warm-up tosses here in the bottom of the fourth. Now, Cunningham's last time out, as we said, a very good start against Gateway in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Went 6 innings, gave up no runs on 2 hits, no walks, and 2 strikeouts in the contest. Would not get a decision as Zach Groats blew his first save of the season in the 7th inning of that one. Making his way to the plate to lead things off, Jake Gronsky. Gronsky so far doubled and drove in 2 runs in his first at-bat. And in last night's game, Gronsky ended up going 2 for 4 with 2 singles, lined out and flew out, and also drove in a run in that contest. Cunningham set. Here's the pitch. And Gronsky takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Jake Gronsky, the third baseman, hitting in the 6th spot for the Joliet Slammers today. Cunningham's 0-1. And Gronsky grounded to short. Wobrock will handle it, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the fourth, and that'll bring up the catcher, Casey Fletcher. Fletcher so far 0 for 1, flew out to left field his last time up. Last night's game was behind the plate, and Fletcher would go 2 for 3, 2 singles, a strikeout, and a walk. Also drove in 2 runs in the contest. 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. 3-3 between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham has his sign, the pitch. And Fletcher down the left field line. This one's hooking, and it'll go into the seats foul. The count goes to 0-1. No balls and 1 strike on Casey Fletcher. A 2-pitch out to start this inning for Chase Cunningham. And since that first inning, he's been very efficient. 15 pitches in the second, 9 pitches in the third. And so far, only 4 pitches here in the fourth, as this one's fouled away, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes on Casey Fletcher. So far on the day for Cunningham, he has thrown 52 pitches through 3 innings. That one's high for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Casey Fletcher. Here it comes. And he checks his swing, and he went around, says the home plate umpire. McKeon's going to have to throw down to first, and that will complete the strikeout. Strikeout and a 2-3 put out, and that's the second out here in the 4th inning. As they say Fletcher went around, that brings up the designated hitter, Melvin Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 1, popped out behind the plate his last time up. Did not play last night's game as Joe Staley was the designated hitter. Staley would end up going 1 for 5, into a double play, singled, fielder's choice, strikeout, and a ground out. The pitch, and that one's low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Melvin Rodriguez. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Here's the 1-0 from Cunningham, and that one swung on and fouled away. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Melvin Rodriguez, the designated hitter today. No relation to Alfredo Rodriguez on the team. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men out. Cunningham has his sign and the pitch. And this one grounded right to the mound. Hits off the leg of Cunningham. He'll rebound and throw to first. And it's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Slammers here in the 4th. And after 4 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the top of the fifth in the score. Your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Last inning, the Wild Things would go 1-2-3 against Shane Bryant, as Justin Fox would line out, Austin Wobrock would ground out, and Andrew Heck would strike out to end the inning. Due up this inning for your Wild Things, Ricky Rodriguez, Chris Grayson, and Dave Popkins, 2, 3, and 4, facing off against Shane Bryant. So far for the Wild Things offense, second inning, their big inning, as they scored 3 runs. Other than that, Shane Bryant has really held them down. Faced 4 men in the first, faced 4 in the second or in the third, and faced 1, 2, 3 in the fourth inning. So a big second inning for the Wild Things, and that's all they've been able to muster so far off of Shane Bryant. The Joliet Slammers, same situation, a big 3-run first inning, but then have been silenced by starting pitcher Chase Cunningham. So the Wild Things have come to the plate looking to add on here in the fifth with the score tied at 3. Rodriguez making his way to the plate. Rodriguez so far 2 for 2, singled in the first and singled in inning number 2. Rodriguez was at third base as well in last night's game, as the designated hitter was Jimmy Yezzo. We've seen Rodriguez at third and left and also in the designated hitter's role. Rodriguez stepping in to lead things off here in the fifth against Shane Bryant. As Mike Marshall having to hurry his way down to first base, he was talking to the Wild Things dugout, trying to get them ready to face Bryant here in the fifth. Bryant looking in, has his sign, here's the pitch. And Rodriguez fouls this first pitch away, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Ricky Rodriguez over at third base for the Wild Things. An all-star for your Washington Wild Things, one of 4 all-stars on this Wild Things team. Here's the 0-1, and this one's fouled away back into the seats. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on Ricky Rodriguez, leading things off here in the fifth, trying to get on and give the Wild Things the lead, as the score's been tied at 3 since the second inning. Bryant has his sign, the 0-2, and Rodriguez, a swing and a miss, he strikes out, and there is one away here in the top of the fifth. 1 out, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far 0 for 2, popped out in the first and grounded out in inning number 2. 1 man out, top of the fifth, 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Game 2 of a 3-game series. Wild Things winning yesterday's game by the score of 8-7. And Grayson, as we said, played for the Sioux Fall Canaries earlier this year, the American Association, at 229, 2 home runs, and 9 RBIs with the Canaries. Here's the pitch from Bryant, and that one's at the letters for a strike, no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count to Chris Grayson. Since the early struggles, both of these pitchers have really calmed down in this game. Bryant set in the 0-1, and that one swung on and missed. Count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 man out here in the top of the fifth. Chris Grayson just signed, making his second start for the Washington Wild Things. Drove in a run in last night's game. Bryant set in the 0-2, and Grayson takes this one high. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Grayson wisely laying off of that one. Talked to Chris Grayson before the game. Thanked him for joining us on the pregame show, taking time in the early morning to do that interview, and he takes a called strike 3 on the outside corner, and that is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the fifth inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the first, struck out in inning number 3. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. Grayson not agreeing with that called strike. I don't blame him. It was a little bit off the outside part of the plate, but Staley called it a strike, and what the umpire says goes. Here's the pitch, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Dave Popkins out in right field. Another one of your All-Stars. He's actually starting the All-Star game in the outfield for your Wild Things. Bryant looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And that one swung on and missed by Popkins. That one looked in the dirt a little bit, and the count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 men out here in the top of the fifth. 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Bryant has his sign, the 1-1. And that one's inside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Dave Popkins. First 2 men struck out here in the top of the fifth. Popkins looking to get on for some 2-out magic. Bryant set the 2-1. And that one's high for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count on Dave Popkins. Out in right field for your Washington Wild Things. Trying to get on with 2 men away. Bryant looking in, has his sign. Here's the 3-1. And that one's inside, ball 4. Popkins walks and reaches with 2 men out, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Grant Fink. Fink on the day is currently 1 for 1, walked and scored a run in the second and singled in the 3rd inning. He was later picked off at first base after singling. 2 outs, top of the 5th, 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Popkins takes his lead from first. Mark Flores holding him on over there. Bryant set, and the pitch. And Fink takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things DH. Getting the start here in Game 2. Did not play last night. Bryant set, and the 0-1. And Fink takes this one in the dirt. Count goes even at a ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Grant Fink has been getting a little more consistent playing time lately. We saw him at third base the majority of the time. Also in left field a couple of games. Now DHing here today. Here's the 1-1. And Fink pops this one up. Back behind the plate. Fletcher going back on it. He's under it, and he'll make the catch. That is out number 3. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, and a man left on after the walk. And after 4.5, the score. Your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 5th in the score. Your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Last inning, Slammers retired 1-2-3 as Jake Gronsky grounded out to short, then Casey Fletcher struck out, and Melvin Rodriguez grounded out to end the inning. Due up here in the 5th, Phil Bates, Charlie White, and Alfredo Rodriguez, 9-1-2. Facing off against Chase Cunningham. And Cunningham, ever since that first inning, as we said, has really calmed down. Faced 4 batters in that 3rd inning, only throwing 15 pitches. Threw 9 pitches in the 3rd inning, retiring 1-2-3. And threw 9 pitches last inning, also retiring the Joliet Slammers 1-2-3. Game tied at 3. Cunningham, prior to this start, had 4 straight starts in which he had gotten 1 earned run or less of run support. Today getting 3 earned runs, but to his fault, he's given up 3 runs himself. So still a tie game and not in line for a no decision here in this one to this point. Due up in this inning, as we said, Bates, White, and Rodriguez. Phil Bates making his way to the plate, 0 for 1 so far with a strikeout, and in last night's game was 1 for 4. Singled, flew out twice, and struck out in last night's contest. Bottom of the 5th, 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Bates takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the left fielder for the Joliet Slammers. Battle of the top 2 teams. Cunningham's 1-0. And Bates fouls this one off back into the stands. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Phil Bates. Was batting near the top of the lineup last time the Wild Things saw these Joliet Slammers. Now down in the number 9 spot here today. Here's the 1-1, and that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Cunningham falling behind the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Trying to get another 1-2-3 inning. Here's the 2-1, and this one's fouled away back to the screen. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 3 strikeouts for Cunningham on the day. As Phil Bates, one of the strikeout victims, also getting rock shoulders, and Casey Fletcher. Cunningham's 2-2, and this one fouled away. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count on Phil Bates. Out in left field for the Joliet Slammers. Wild Things took game 1 of this series by a score of 8-7 last night. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, the 2-2. And this one's fouled away. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Battle here between Phil Bates and Chase Cunningham to start the inning. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up here against Bates. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Cunningham shaking off the first couple signs. Here's his pitch. And that one swung on and grounded to third. Ricky Rodriguez will handle it. Throw across to first. And it's high and over the head of Uxa. And it'll go into the stands. Uxa not able to handle it. And reaching base is Phil Bates. E5 on the throw as Bates reaches base. Here to lead off the bottom of the 5th. And that'll bring up the leadoff man, Charlie White. White 0 for 1 in this one. Grounded out in the first. Was hit by a pitch in inning number 2. Runner at second here after the error as Bates made it all the way up to second on the throwing error. So there's a runner at second with nobody out and Charlie White at the plate. Cunningham trying to pick up Ricky Rodriguez on the throwing error. Cunningham looking in, has his sign. Checks second, here's the pitch. White bunting gets this one down and it'll roll into foul territory for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count on Charlie White. Trying to sacrifice the runner Phil Bates over to third base as that one rolls foul and have to try to do it again. McKeon wisely laying off until that ball got into foul territory. No balls and 1 strike here. Nobody out, bottom of the 5th from Silver Cross Field in Joliet, Illinois. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. I'm Zach Ziegler. Chase Cunningham making his 9th start of the year, facing off against these Joliet Slammers. Cunningham looking in to Alex McKeon. Cunningham has his sign. He's set. Checks second and the 0-1. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Charlie White. And Cunningham having thrown 9 pitches in the last 2 innings. Not going to throw 9 here in this one. He's throwing his 9th pitch in this inning. Cunningham has his sign. He's set. Checks second, the 1-1. And that one's high and outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Charlie White. So far 4 innings, 3 runs for Chase Cunningham. And ever since that first start of the year, he's not given up more than 3 earned runs in a ball game. See if he can keep that streak going today. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, checks second, the 2-1. And that one's low for a ball, so the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Cunningham falling behind Charlie White here. 3-1, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. It's Chase Cunningham facing off against Charlie White. Cunningham looks in, has his sign. He's set, checks second, and the 3-1. And that one fouled off back to the screen. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Chase Cunningham having to work a little bit here in the 5th inning. First man reached on an error, trying to get the first out of the inning. Here for Charlie White. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. About a quarter of the way full here on a kid's day in Joliet, Illinois. Cunningham has his sign, the 3-2. And this one lined towards right field. Popkins coming in, and he'll make the catch on the run for out number 1. 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Alfredo Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 1, walked and scored a run in the first, and popped out in inning number 2. 1 out, bottom of the 5th, 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Alfredo Rodriguez coming to the plate with a runner at second and 1 man out. Cunningham trying to erase that error, trying to pick up his fielder, Ricky Rodriguez. Cunningham has his sign. He's set, checks second, and the pitch. And that one's low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count on Alfredo Rodriguez. As Cunningham looks in, has his sign. He's set. Checks second, and the 1-0. And that one's in there for a strike. Count goes even to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. 1 man out, bottom of the 5th. Game 2 of a 3-game series. Wild Things winning 8-7 in last night's victory. Cunningham has his sign, checks second. Here's the 1-1. And that one swung on and fouled away. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Luckily for the Wild Things, Rodriguez getting a piece of that one as that'll make Phil Bates have to go back to second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, bottom of the 5th. 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham looks in, has his sign. Set, check, second, the 1-2. And this one grounded to third. Rodriguez, a diving stop to his feet to throw to first, and it got him. What a play by Ricky Rodriguez. Makes up for the error there on the diving stop, gets the out, and there are now 2 away here in the 5th inning. Rodriguez goes full out to his left, makes a great play, and throws on to first for the out. That'll bring up the second baseman, Carter Bell. Bell 0 for 2 so far, flew out in the first, and reached on an error in inning number 2. Runner on third, 2 men out. A great diving play by Ricky Rodriguez for the second out of this inning. Alex McKeon a quick chat with his starting pitcher, Chase Cunningham, and now he'll go back behind the plate. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th, 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham looks into Alex McKeon, has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And this one's fouled away back behind the seats. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Cunningham opting to go from the windup with the runner at third and 2 men out, as he's not really worried about that base runner. No balls and a strike, 2 outs. Cunningham set. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Carter Bell, the second baseman for the Joliet Slammers. One of the Joliet All-Stars, starting at second base in the Frontier League East. The 1-1, and that one's low for a ball as well. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on the Joliet second baseman. Top of the 5th here from Silver Cross Field. Game 2 of a 3-game series. Here's the pitch. And this ball popped up, foul, back into the seats. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Here in the bottom of the 5th, top 2 teams here in the Frontier League East, Wild Things and Slammers. Slammers sit in first, Wild Things 3 games back in second place. Wild Things sit at 24-21, Slammers at 28-19. Cunningham set, here's the 2-2. And this one's fouled away back into the seats. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 2 men out. Cunningham's had to work this inning. They threw 7 pitches to Phil Bates to start the inning, 6 to Charlie White, and 4 to Alfredo Rodriguez. Currently 5 here to Carter Bell. Cunningham set, and the 2-2 pitch. And this one hit towards right center. Dave Popkins running over there, and he'll make the leaping catch for out number 3. No runs in the inning, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. And after 5, the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 6th. And the score, your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Last inning for the Wild Things, Ricky Rodriguez and Chris Grayson struck out to start things. Then Dave Popkins walked and Grant Fink popped out to end the inning. Due up here in the 6th, Logan Uxa, Alex McKeon, and Justin Fox. So far the line for the starting pitcher, Shane Bryant for the Joliet Slammers. Bryant has gone 5 innings, giving up 3 runs, all earned on 6 hits, while walking 1 man and striking out 4 on the contest. He has thrown 96 pitches through 5 innings of work, so we'll see how much longer he can go in this one. Logan Uxa making his way to the plate. Uxa so far is 2 for 2, tripled and scored a run in the second, also drove in a run, and then singled in inning number 2. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th as the Wild Things look to get on the board. Uxa 2 for 2 today and 3 for 4 in last night's ball game. So reaching base on a consistent basis here in this series, looks to keep that going here in the 6th inning. Bryant looks in, has his sign, the pitch, and this one grounded to first. Mark Flores will handle it, take it to the bag himself, and that is out number 1. One pitch, one away here in the top of the 6th, and that'll bring up the catcher, Alex McKeon. McKeon 0 for 1 was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 2nd and struck out in inning number 3. One out, top of the 6th. 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Here's the first pitch, and that one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count to Alex McKeon, the backup catcher for the Wild Things from Terrytown, New York, a product of the Boston Red Sox organization. Here's the 1-0. And that one's a called strike on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the catcher, McKeon, with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Bryant has his sign, the 1-1. McKeon bunting, and this one will go foul, so the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Alex McKeon. At the plate here with 1 out, trying to get on base for the Wild Things. Bryant looking in. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And McKeon takes high for a ball. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the Wild Things catcher. Bryant over 100 pitches now, as this next pitch will be his 102nd pitch. Here's the 2-2. And this ball popped up behind first base on the right side, now to foul territory. Flores under it, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th against Bryant, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Justin Fox. Fox 0 for 2 so far, struck out in the 2nd, lined out in inning number 4. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Wild Things. 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Slammers. Bryant looking in, has his sign, the pitch, and Fox takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things second baseman. Bryant looking in, has his sign, the 0-1. And Fox takes this one on the inside corner. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Wild Things second baseman. All 3 runs for the Wild Things coming in the 2nd inning. Here's the 1-1. And Fox lines this one into left field. That'll be a base hit. A 2-out single gives the Wild Things a base runner as Fox reaches. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far in this one is currently 1 for 2. RBI single in the 2nd and grounded out in inning number 4. Man on first, 2 outs here for the Wild Things. Top of the 6th, 3-3 the score. Justin Fox's first hit of the series with Wobrock at the plate. Bryant looking on, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And Wobrock fouls this one away back to the screen. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Austin Wobrock. As Shane Bryant looking in. Bryant has his sign. He's set. Here's the 0-1. And this one fouled away back into the stands. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Austin Wobrock, the number 9 hitter in this Wild Things order. Bryant has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2 pitch. And that one's a called strike 3. Austin Wobrock strikes out, and that will end the inning. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. And after 5.5 the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network. Come out to Consol Energy Park July 8th through the 10th as it's the last home series before the All-Star break. Come support All-Stars Ricky Rodriguez, Dave Popkins, Trevor Foss, and Zach Groves. There's a buzz around all the action this weekend as the Wild Things take on the Schaumburg Boomers in a 3-game series. The series starts Friday night at 7:05 where it's a fireworks night. Enjoy a Wild Things baseball game and see a spectacular fireworks display after the game. Then on Saturday, the Washington Wild Things will be changing their name to the Washington Cicadas for Cicada Night. Brought to you by working. There will also be a ugly Christmas blanket giveaway to the first 1,000 fans. Then the series concludes on Sunday when your Washington Wild Things take on the Schaumburg Boomers at 5:05. It's a kids' day at the park. All kids 12 and under get to run the bases after the game. For tickets, go to www.washingtonwildthings.com or call the box office at 866-456-WILD. Washington Wild Things Baseball, let's get wild. We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things Baseball. Going to the bottom of the 6th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Chase Cunningham back out there for a 6th inning of work. The line so far for Cunningham's gone 5 innings, giving up 3 runs, all earned on 3 hits, walking 1 and striking out 3 on the day. He has thrown 83 pitches through 5 innings of work out there this inning. Last inning, Phil Bates would reach on a 2-base error to start things. Then Charlie White would fly out, Alfredo Rodriguez would ground out, and Carter Bell would fly out to end the inning. Due up this inning, Mark Flores, Rock Shoulders, and Jake Gronsky, 4, 5, and 6, facing off against Chase Cunningham. Flores making his way to the plate, and with Shane Bryant at 108 pitches through 6 innings of work, there is action over in the Joliet bullpen, as we've probably seen the last of Shane Bryant today. Chase Cunningham set. Here's the pitch. And Flores takes that one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Flores, the first baseman for the Joliet Slammers. Wild Things took game 1 of this series 8-7, looking to win the series today. Here's the 0-1. And that one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Flores, the first baseman for the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Flores lines this one down the line and left. That'll go foul, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Mark Flores, the first baseman, as he's up here with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th. Cunningham set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that ball grounded to second. Justin Fox will handle it. Throw on to first. And that's in time for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down here in the 6th inning for the Joliet Slammers. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Rock Shoulders. Shoulders so far 1 for 2. Single RBI and scored a run in the first. And struck out in inning number 3. Now up here in the bottom of inning number 6. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham's pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Rock Shoulders out there in right field. Drove in 2 of the team's 7 runs yesterday. Here's the 0-1, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Rock Shoulders. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, and the 1-1. And Shoulders takes this one high as Cunningham falls behind him. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Rock Shoulders, facing off against Chase Cunningham. Cunningham set in the 2-1. And Shoulders pops this one up. Back behind second, Dave Popkins coming in, and Popkins will make the catch for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th inning, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Jake Gronsky. Gronsky in this one is currently 1 for 2. A double and 2 RBIs in the first, and then grounded out in inning number 4. Cunningham's been on a roll lately as he has set down the last 10 Joliet Slammers that he has faced. The last time a man reached base was in the 3rd inning. The last hit for the Slammers wasn't since the 1st inning. It's the last time they've got their hit. They've reached on error, a hit by pitch and an error, and 2 errors twice. Here's the pitch, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Jake Gronsky. Actually, he's retired 5 straight, They did reach on an error in the 5th. Here's the 1-0, and this one lined into right field, and that'll get down for a base hit. A 2-out single for Jake Gronsky gives the Joliet Slammers a runner on first with 2 outs, and that brings up the catcher, Casey Fletcher. Fletcher 0 for 2 so far, flew out in the first and struck out in inning number 4. 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. 3-3 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers, as Jake Gronsky takes his lead from first. Cunningham has his sign. He's set. And the pitch. Throw over to first, and Gronsky gets back in there. 2 outs. Fletcher started both games, caught last night, and then back in here for this morning's game. Cunningham setting the pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes on the Joliet catcher, Casey Fletcher. Cunningham looking in. Has his sign, he's set, and the 1-0. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on the Joliet catcher. Joe Staley getting another day off. Was the DH in last night's game. Not playing here in Game 2 today. Cunningham looks in, has his sign, and the 2-0. And this one fouled off back to the screen. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Fletcher. Bottom of the 6th, 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Cunningham looking to get out of this inning and get his team back to the bat racks. Cunningham has his sign, he's set, and the 2-1. And this one's a called strike on the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 with 2 men out. And Casey Fletcher at the plate. Cunningham has his sign. He's set. And the 2-2 pitch. And that one's in the dirt. Not blocked by McKeon. It gets away from him behind the plate. But that'll actually hit Fletcher on the foot. So it'll be a hit by pitch, and the man is on. Runners are now at first and second with 2 away. And that brings up the designated hitter, Melvin Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far is 0 for 2. Popped out in the second and grounded out in inning number 4. Rodriguez coming up now here in the bottom of the 6th. 2 on, 2 out. Alex McKeon will go out to talk to his pitcher, Chase Cunningham, after giving up a single and a hit by pitch with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And that'll prompt action in the Washington Wild Things bullpen. As the meeting on the mound is done, McKeon going back. And we are ready. Cunningham looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the pitch. And Rodriguez hits this one to center field. Heck going back a couple steps in front of the track, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 6 innings of play, the score, you're watching Wilding 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 7th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 3 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Pitching change for the Slammers, as coming into the game is right-hander Jordan Pannell. Pannell on the year is currently 0-0 with a 1.00 ERA. Has thrown in 1 game, throw 2 innings of work, giving up 1 run. It was earned on 2 hits, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. So Pannell into this game here. Final line for the starter, Shane Bryant. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, all earned on 7 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts, throwing 108 pitches in the contest. And first men due up here to face Jordan Pannell in this 7th inning will be the 1-2-3 men, Andrew Heck, Ricky Rodriguez, and Chris Grayson, to face off against Pannell. Heck making his way to the plate. Heck so far 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. 3-3 here in the top of the 7th. 108 pitches thrown for the starter, Shane Bryant. Heck up to the plate now. Andrew Heck, as we said, 0 for 2, ground out, fly out, and a sac fly, two strikeouts and a sac fly as he's stepping in to lead off the top of the 7th. Pennell has his sign, he's set. Here's the pitch. And Heck takes way inside for a ball. Count goes to 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes here on Andrew Heck. Facing the reliever, Jordan Pennell. Pennell has his sign, here's the 1-0. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on Andrew Heck. Pennell wild to start the inning here out of the bullpen. Pennell has his sign and the 2-0. And that one swung on and missed by Heck. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Andrew Heck out there in center field today. Made the last out in the bottom of the 6th by going back to the track and catching the fly ball. Pennell looking in, has his sign. Here's the 2-1. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 3 balls and a strike, and Pennell falls behind the first hitter he's faced here out of the bullpen in the top of the 7th. Pennell looking in, has his sign. He's set. And the 3-1. And Heck fouls this one away. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ricky Rodriguez, the on-deck hitter for your Washington Wild Things. Andrew Heck looking to get on base for him here in the top of the 7th. Wild Things last night tied the game at 7 in the top of the 7th. Currently game tied at 3 here in this one in the 7th inning. Pennell has his sign. Here's the 3-2. And that one's way outside for ball 4. So Andrew Heck walks to lead off the inning as he reaches base with nobody out. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez 2 for 3 so far. Single in the first, single in the second, and struck out in inning number 5. Man on first, nobody out, top of the 7th. 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Jordan Pennell out of the bullpen after Shane Bryant goes 6 innings, throwing 108 pitches, giving up 3 runs all earned on 7 hits, walking 2 and striking out 7. Pennell looks in, has his sign, he's set, here's the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one for a strike on the inside corner, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez. Pennell looking in. Throw over to first, and Heck getting back. Heck 4 stolen bases on the year, good for second on the team. Did get a steal in last night's game. Pennell looks in, has his sign, he's set. The 0-1. And Rodriguez takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Andrew Heck started going off for second base, but then put on the brakes as he would have been a dead duck if he made it to second. We've seen that a couple times from Heck this season. Starts to take off and then retreats back to the bag. Pennell has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Rodriguez is hit by a pitch. Hits Rodriguez on the arm, so the first 2 men reach here against Jordan Pennell in the top of the 7th. Rodriguez at first, Heck at second, and that brings up Chris Grayson, the left fielder. Grayson so far 0 for 3, popped out in the first, grounded out in the second, and struck out in inning number 5. Men on first and second, nobody out. Andrew Heck standing at second, and Ricky Rodriguez over at first. Grayson stepping in. Nobody out, a tight game here between the Wild Things and the Slammers. 3-3. Tight game last night, but it was an offensive game as it was 8-7 was the final score. Pennell has his sign. He's set. And the pitch, Grayson squaring around. Here it comes. Grayson pulls back and takes a strike on the inside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Runners at first and second as the sacrifice bunt is on here for Chris Grayson. Also, the wheel play looks to be in order as the second baseman, Carter Bell, went to cover first on that last play. Jake Gronsky going to talk to Jordan Pennell. That meeting is now over, and we're ready for baseball. 0-1, nobody out, top of the 7th. 3-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Pennell looking in to his catcher, Fletcher. Pennell has his sign. Here's the pitch. Grayson not squaring this time and takes one low for a ball. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count, nobody out. Top of the 7th between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Pennell looks in, has his sign, and the 1-1 after the look to second. Here it comes. Grayson squaring, pulls back, and takes a ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pennell in trouble after coming out of the bullpen. Walked Andrew Heck, the leadoff man he faced, then hit Ricky Rodriguez with a pitch during his at-bat, now facing Chris Grayson. Pennell looking in, has his sign, he's set. Here's the 2-1. And checking his swing is Grayson, and the home plate umpire says he went around. Count goes even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count on the Wild Things left fielder. 3-3 the score. As Pennell looks in. Long look into Fletcher. Has the sign he wants. He's set. And the 2-2. And Grayson grounded to short. Alfredo Rodriguez has the second for 1, and it's not going to be time at first. And they do say Rodriguez is out. The second baseman, Carter Bell, bobbled the ball, but they said it was on the exchange that he dropped it. So a fielder's choice for Chris Grayson, 6-4 on the putout. And there are runners at the corners with 1 man out, and that will bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far in this one is 0 for 2, grounded out in the first, struck out in the third, and walked in inning number 5. Andrew Heck stands at first, Andrew Heck at third, Chris Grayson at first. Pennell has his sign, he's set, here's the pitch. And Popkins hits this one to center field. Charlie White in a couple steps, Andrew Heck will tag. Here's the catch, Heck's coming to score. Here's the throw, it's cut off by Flores, and Heck is safe at the plate. Grayson safe at second base. A sac fly for Dave Popkins, and your Wild Things take the lead here in the 7th. It's now 4-3. Grayson also a smart play, moving up to second, getting in there as Mark Flores cut off the throw to the plate, and Grayson slides in safely to second. So now there's a runner at second with 2 outs, and the Wild Things leading 4-3 with Grant Fink coming to the plate. Fink on the day, currently 1 for 2, singled in the third, also walked and scored a run in the second, and popped out in inning number 5. Your Wild Things take a 4-3 lead here in the top of the 7th on the Popkins sacrifice fly with Fink at the plate. Pennell looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. Fink a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 0-1. No balls and 1 strike on Grant Fink. Chris Grayson standing at second base with 2 men out. He reached on a fielder's choice. A sac fly RBI for Dave Popkins has drove in the go-ahead run here in the 7th. Wild Things leading 4-3. Pennell has his sign, checks second, and the 0-1. And Fink checks his swing and takes a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. 2 men out, top of the 7th. A run in on the sacrifice fly. Grant Fink at the plate. Pennell looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 0-2 pitch. And Fink checks swing, foul balls. It hits off the front railing of the Joliet dugout. Fink didn't want to swing at that pitch, but the bat happened to find the ball as Fink gets a piece of it, and he'll have to do it again, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Grant Fink trying to drive Grayson in from second. Pennell looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 0-2 pitch. Turn and look to second, and Grayson gets back. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Chris Grayson standing on second base. He reached on a fielder's choice, a run in on the sac fly by Dave Popkins. Pennell looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 0-2 pitch. And Fink checks his swing, takes one in the dirt. And that's a wild pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Grayson moving up to third on the wild pitch. So runner at third, 2 men out now for the Wild Things. It's Grant Fink working at the plate. Wild Things now lead 4-3 over the Joliet Slammers on the sacrifice fly by Dave Popkins earlier in this inning. Grant Fink in that designated hitter spot today. They got Cunningham a run of support. Cunningham now the pitcher of record so far for the Wild Things. Pennell set. Here's the 1-2. and Fink, fly ball to left field. Going back is Bates a couple of steps, and Bates will make the catch for out number 3. But a run does come in for the Wild Things on no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 6.5 to score, your Wild Things 4 and the Joliet Slammers 3. We're going to take you down to the field for Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
This is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 7th, and your Wild Things have taken the lead in this one as they lead it 4-3. Pitching change for your Wild Things now coming on is Devin Davis. Davis, a 1-0 record, 2 saves on the season, has a 3.04 ERA, appearing in his 19th game, has thrown 20 2/3 innings, giving up 7 runs, all earned on 19 hits, walking 8 and striking out 19 in the contest. The final line for Chase Cunningham, he goes 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, all earned on 4 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts on the day for Cunningham. On the day, he would end up throwing as I calculate the pitches. Would end up throwing 99 pitches on the day. First man up to face Devin Davis will be the left fielder, Phil Bates, and the first pitch is fouled away, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Phil Bates, so 99 pitches for Chase Cunningham as his day is over. Here he is the pitcher of record as of now. Davis setting the 0-1, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Devin Davis has been very good recently out of the bullpen for the Wild Things. A couple of straight scoreless appearances. Here's the 1-1, and that one's inside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Phil Bates. Davis is 2-1, and that one's a called strike on the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Wild Things lead 4-3 over the Joliet Slammers. The 2-2 and a swing and a miss. Davis strikes out Phil Bates, and that's the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. That'll bring up the center fielder, Charlie White. White in this one so far is 0 for 2. Grounded out in the first, was hit by a pitch in the second, and flew out in inning number 5. The leadoff man for the Joliet Slammers. 4th time around for this Joliet order. There's Chase Cunningham out of the game after 6, giving up 3 runs. Devin Davis, the new pitcher. Here's the pitch, and this one hit towards center field. Andrew Heck going over to his right a couple of steps, and he'll make the catch, and that is out number 2. There are now 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th, and that will bring up the shortstop, Alfredo Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far in the day, 0 for 2, walked and scored a run in the first, popped out in the second, and grounded out in inning number 5. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, And the Washington Wild Things leading 4-3. Here's the pitch, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Alfredo Rodriguez, the shortstop. Game 2 of the 3-game series. Davis is 1-0, and that one's high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here on Alfredo Rodriguez. Davis has his sign, the 2-0. And this ball chopped foul towards the Wild Things dugout, and the count goes to 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. With 2 men out here in the bottom of the 7th, Wild Things leading 4-3. Davis set in the 2-1, and this one shot towards third, but Ricky Rodriguez will pick it up in foul territory, and the count even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Game 3 of this series played tomorrow night, 8:05 p.m. first pitch as Matt Frodden takes the hill for your Washington Wild Things, being opposed by Caleb Ort. Here's the 2-2, and that one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2, 2 men out as Carter Bell, the on-deck hitter for the Joliet Slammers. Davis set, here's the 3-2, and that one's fouled away as the count stays at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming from Devin Davis, coming in for his first inning of work here in the 7th. Davis set, here's the 3-2, and that one's high ball 4. So a full count walk gives the Joliet Slammers a runner at first with 2 men out, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Carter Bell. Bell in this one is 0 for 3, flew out in the first, reached on an error in the third, and flew out in inning number 5. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. 4-3 your Washington Wild Things lead over the Joliet Slammers as Bell comes to the plate. Devin Davis looking in to Alex McKeon. Runner at first, 2 men out. Davis has his sign. Checks first. Here's the pitch. And that one is just inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Carter Bell. Davis coming in to relieve Chase Cunningham. Davis has his sign. He's set. Here's the 1-0. And this ball hit the center field and deep. Back goes Andrew Heck to the track, and he will make the catch, crashing into the wall for out number 3. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and a man left on after the walk. After 7 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 4 and the Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 8th in the score. Your Washington Wild Things 4 and the Joliet Slammers 3. Jordan Pinnell back out there for his 2nd inning of work out of the bullpen. Last inning, he walked Andrew Heck and hit Ricky Rodriguez to start the inning. Then Chris Grayson, a fielder's choice, moved runners to first and third with 1 man out, and then a sac fly by Dave Popkins would score Andrew Heck and give your Wild Things this 4-3 lead. Grant Fink would fly out to end the inning. Due up this inning against Jordan Pinnell will be Logan Uxa, Alex McKeon, and Justin Fox, 6, 7, and 8, taking on Jordan Pinnell here in the 8th inning. Pinnell had to throw 20 pitches in his first inning of relief, so we'll see how long a leash he has on this one. July 9th is going to be a special one at Consol Energy Park. It's Cicada Night. Word is the team is changing its name due to the influx of cicadas here in Washington County, or the influx that we used to have in Washington County. There'll be a special jersey auction and more, plus an ugly Christmas blanket giveaway to the first 1,000 fans. Get your tickets today for Cicada Night at Consol Energy Park. Logan Uxa making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the top of inning number 8. Jordan Pinnell looking in. Pinnell has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Uxa takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. Uxa on the day, 2 for 3, an RBI triple in the 2nd, and a single in inning number 3. Pinnell looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1. And Uxa to right center field. This one is deep, going back, and they're not going to make the catch. It's off the wall. Uxa around first, heading to second, and he's in there with a leadoff double to start things here in the top of the 8th. Giving chase was Rock Shoulders. Shoulders was not going to get to that one. Neither was the center fielder, Charlie White. And Uxa in scoring position as the Wild Things look to add on here in the 8th. Alex McKeon coming to the plate. McKeon so far 0 for 2. Hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 2nd, struck out in the 3rd, and popped out in inning number 6. Pinnell looking in, has his sign, he's set. checks second, and here's the pitch. McKeon bunting, he gets this one down. And this sacrifice bunt will do more than work. It's an infield single for Alex McKeon. A great sacrifice bunt in between the third baseman and the pitcher. Neither of them could make the play, and there are now runners at first and third with nobody out here in the top of the 8th, and Justin Fox coming to the plate. Fox so far 1 for 3, struck out in the second, lined out in the fourth, and singled in inning number 6. Wild Things lead 4-3. Here in the top of the 8th, Fox at the plate. Jake Gronsky in at third. Pennell has his sign. He's setting the pitch. Fox lays down a bunt and gets this one foul. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Justin Fox, as manager Greg Langman telling him to swing away after he bunted at that first pitch. No balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Runners at first and third. Fox at the plate. Pennell looks in, has his sign. He's set. Here's the 0-1. And a swing and a miss by Fox, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Fox going in the dirt after that one. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Logan Ucks at third, and Alex McKeon standing at first. Pennell looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 0-2 pitch. Fox fouls this one back to the screen. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Pennell had to throw 20 pitches in the first inning. Had to throw 3 to the first 2 batters here, and currently has 3 to Justin Fox. Pennell looks in, has his sign, he's set. And the 0-2 pitch. And Fox takes high for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on the Wild Things second baseman. As Fox looking to drive in some insurance here for your Wild Things. Only 1 RBI on the season for Justin Fox. Pennell has his sign, he's set. The 1-2. And Fox to center field. Hits shallow, White going over. He'll make the catch. Tagging and scoring from third will be Logan Uxa. Sacrifice fly for Justin Fox. And the Wild Things now lead it 5-3 as Uxa comes in. 1 out here in the top of the 8th, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Austin Wolbrock. Runner at first and 1 man out after the sac fly by Justin Fox. Your Wild Things now lead 5-3. As Wolbrock is 1 for 3 so far, drove in a run in the second, and grounded out and struck out today. Pennell throw over to first, and McKeon gets back over there. 1 out, top of the 8th, a run in against Jordan Pennell. The second run that Pennell has given up on the day. Pennell has his sign, he's set, here's the pitch. And Wolbrock, a fly ball down the left field line. This one's hooking, it'll go into foul territory, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count to Austin Wolbrock. Top of the 8th, 5-3. Your Washington Wild Things lead the Joliet Slammers. Jordan Pennell came on to relieve the starting pitcher, Shane Bryant. Bryant went 6 innings. We're going to no decision in this one as he gave up just 3 runs, all earned in those 6 innings of work. Pennell has his sign, the 0-1, and Wolbrock chops this one out in front of the plate, and it'll roll into foul territory. And the count goes to 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes here on Austin Wolbrock. As after the foul ball, Wolbrock has to go back to the plate. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 man out. As this Austin Wolbrock fouled that one off, he was running down the line. It hit in fair territory and then rolled foul, and the count is 0-2. Runner at first is Alex McKeon. He singled with nobody out. A bunt single as he was trying to sacrifice himself. Jordan Pennell looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2 pitch. And Wolbrock to left field and deep. Bates running back, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. That's the second out of the inning. Alex McKeon retreats back to first with 2 outs on the top of the 8th. That'll bring up the center fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far 0 for 2, struck out twice, also sac fly and a walk and a run scored on the day. 2 outs, top of the 8th. Wild Things lead 5-3 over the Joliet Slammers. Jordan Pennell on the hill for his second inning of relief. Pennell looks in, has his sign, he's set, here's the pitch. And Heck takes this one low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. Out there today, his 5th at-bat of the day. He's currently 2 for 2. fifth plate appearance. Here's Pinnell's 1-0, and that one's way inside, almost gets Heck, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on the Wild Things center fielder, with Alex McKeon at first base and 2 men out. Pinnell looks in, has his sign, he's set. And the 2-0. And McKeon, a ground ball under the glove of Pinnell. A diving stop by Bell to his feet, throw to first. And what a play by Carter Bell to end the inning. A diving stop retires Heck and ends the inning. But a run does come in for your Wild Things in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 7.5 to score, your Washington Wild Things 5, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here from Silver Cross Field in Joliet, Illinois. Game 2 of a 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Wild Things took game 1 of this series by the score of 8-7 last night. Currently lead 5-3 tonight here in the bottom of the 8th. Devin Davis back out there for his 2nd inning of work. Last inning for Davis, struck out Phil Bates to start things, then Charlie White flew out. Alfredo Rodriguez would walk, and Carter Bell would fly out to end the inning. Due up here in the 8th against Davis, Mark Flores, Rock Shoulders, and Jake Gronsky, 4, 5, and 6 against the Washington Wild Things southpaw. Devin Davis has been very good for the Wild Things this season, despite 1 bump in the road earlier in the year where he had 3 straight starts of giving up at least 1 earned run or more, but currently on a string of 4 straight scoreless appearances out of the bullpen, has that ERA down to 3.04. It was up in the 4s earlier in this month. Now at 3.04, also collected 2 saves over the month of June. And that'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Mark Flores, as Davis threw with his warm-up tosses. Flores so far on the day is 1 for 3, singled and scored a run in the first, hit into a 6-3 double play in the 3rd, and grounded out in inning number 6. Bottom of the 8th, your Wild Things leading 5-3 over the Joliet Slammers here from Silver Cross Field in Joliet, Illinois. Going to be a lefty-lefty matchup as Devin Davis facing the left-handed batter, Mark Flores. Davis has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Flores takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the first baseman for the Joliet Slammers. Going to be the starting first baseman in the Frontier League All-Star game starting for the East. Here's the pitch. And that one's in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Flores as Devin Davis looks in. Has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Flores fouls this one back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Davis throws 15 pitches in that first inning of relief for the Wild Things, out here for another inning in the 8th. Zach Groats came in for the save in last night's game. We'll see if he comes in again today. 1-2, and that one's in the dirt. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Wild Things have a number of pitchers with saves. In total, 4 of their pitchers, actually 5 of their pitchers has saves. Colin Stanley has a save. Devin Davis has 2. Andrew Wick has 2. As this ball is fouled away back into the stands, count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trevor Foss has 1 save, and Zach Groats has 8 saves on the season. Davis set. Here's the pitch, and this one's fouled away as well. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Mark Flores to lead off this 8th, bottom of the 8th for Joliet. And this one hit down the left field line. Grayson giving it a look, and he's going to run out of room as he hits over there on the wall as it goes foul. The count remains 2-2. 7 pitches already in this at-bat for Mark Flores facing Devin Davis. Davis setting the pitch, and this one grounded foul off to the right, so the count remains 2-2. 4 straight foul balls from Mark Flores. 8 pitches in this at-bat for Devin Davis. Davis looks in, has his sign, and another 2-2, but time is called behind the plate as Mark Flores wants to fix his batting gloves. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, bottom of the 8th, Davis's pitch. And that one's low for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count on Flores. Rock shoulders the on-deck man for the Joliet Slammers. Davis set the 3-2, and that one's a called strike 3. Flores strikes out, and that is out number 1. Flores strikes out looking. The second strikeout on the day for Devin Davis, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Rock Shoulders. Shoulders so far in this one is 1 for 3, singled and scored a run, also drove in a run in the first, struck out in the third, and flew out in inning number 6. 5-3 the score between your Wild Things and the Joliet Slammers. Your Washington Wild Things leading this one over the Slammers by that 5-3 score, looking to take this series. You're going to series win this afternoon. Here's the pitch, and that one swung on a miss, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the right fielder, Rock Shoulders. On this Kids Day from Silver Cross Field, 11:05 Central Time first pitch. It was a 12:05 Eastern Time, as that one's low for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Shoulders. Davis setting the 1-1, and that one's a called strike at the knees, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 with 1 man out after the strikeout of Mark Flores to start the inning. Davis's 1-2 pitch. And this ball hit towards center field. Andrew Heck giving chase, and he's not going to get this one. It'll fall in for a base hit. So Rock Shoulders reaches base here with 1 man out, and that'll bring to the plate Jake Gronsky, the third baseman. Gronsky in this one so far is 2 for 3, a 2 RBI double in the first, struck out in the third, grounded out in the fourth, and singled in inning number 6. Gronsky up here in the bottom of the 8th with his team down by 2. Gronsky represents the tying run as there's a runner at first and 1 man out. Devin Davis looking in. Davis has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Gronsky takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Joliet third baseman. Davis looking in, has his sign. He's set. The 1-0. And Gronsky, a chopper towards third. Rodriguez will field it in foul territory, and the count goes to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Joliet third baseman. Luckily for the Wild Things, that one went foul, as Gronsky would have made it on that play. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 man out here in the bottom of the 8th. Devin Davis, his second inning of relief for the Washington Wild Things, came in the 7th to relieve the starter, Chase Cunningham. Davis looking in. Has his sign, he's set. Checks first, and the 1-1. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Davis threw 15 pitches in that first inning of relief. Davis has his sign, he's set, and the 2-1. And this ball hit towards left field. Chasing is Grayson, he's not going to get it. It's going to go to the wall. Coming around second, heading to third is Shoulders. He's going to be waved to the plate. And now he'll be held at third, as in there with a double is Jake Gronsky. And now there are runners at second and third with only 1 man away, tying run in scoring position now with 1 man out. And that'll bring up the catcher, Casey Fletcher. Fletcher so far in this one is 0 for 2, flew out in the first and struck out in inning number 4. Also was hit by a pitch in this one. Runners at second and third with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Wild Things lead 5-3. As Devin Davis looking to get out of this one. Standing on third is Shoulders. Standing on second is Gronsky. Davis has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Fletcher takes low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Joliet catcher. Fletcher's caught the first 2 games of this series. Davis setting the 1-0. And that one's in there for a strike. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 man out. Davis has his sign. He's set, and the 1-1. And that one's a called strike at the knees as well. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Runners at second and third. 1 man out. Davis trying to keep this a 2-run lead for your Wild Things. Davis shakes off the first sign. Now has one he likes. He's set, and the 1-2. Swinging a foul ball towards the Wild Things dugout. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Casey Fletcher. Runners at second and third is with 1 out. Rock Shoulders singled, and then Jake Gronsky doubled. Davis looks in, has his sign. He's set, and the 1-2. That one's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Casey Fletcher strikes out looking, and there are 2 away now in the bottom of the 8th. Fletcher slowly walking away from the plate. Didn't really agree with that one, but it was called by Scaly, so it counts. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Melvin Rodriguez. Rodriguez 0 for 3, popped out in the second, grounded out in the fourth, and flew out in inning number 6. 2 outs now, bottom of the 8th, 5-3 Wild Things lead. Davis setting the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Melvin Rodriguez, a designated hitter today for the Slammers. Joe Staley occupied that position last night. Here's the 0-1. And that one's in there for a strike as well. Davis ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Runners at second and third here. 2 outs. Wild Things lead 5-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Devin Davis has his sign. He's set in the 0-2. And called strike 3. Davis strikes him out. And that will end the inning. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 8, the score. Your Washington Wild Things 5, Joliet Slammers 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
To replace your athletic field, choose Pro Grass, first in turf. Pro Grass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the Pro Grass Performance System. Pro Grass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call Pro Grass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. Progress, first in turf.
Come out to Consol Energy Park July 8th through the 10th as it's the last home series before the All-Star break. Come support All-Stars Ricky Rodriguez, Dave Popkins, Trevor Foss, and Zach Groves. There's a buzz around all the action this weekend as the Wild Things take on the Schaumburg Boomers in a 3-game series. The series starts Friday night at 7:05 where it's a fireworks night. Enjoy a Wild Things baseball game and see a spectacular fireworks display after the game. Then on Saturday, the Washington Wild Things will be changing their name to the Washington Cicadas for Cicada Night, brought to you by Orkin. There will also be a ugly Christmas blanket giveaway to the first 1,000 fans. Then the series concludes on Sunday when your Washington Wild Things take on the Schaumburg Boomers at 5:05. It's a kids' day at the park. All kids 12 and under get to run the bases after the game. For tickets, go to www.washingtonwildthings.com or call the box office at 866-456-WILD. Washington Wild Things baseball, let's get wild. We're back here in the top of inning number 9, and the score, your Washington Wild Things lead this one 5-3 on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. New pitcher for the Joliet Slammers as Kevin Simmons comes into this one, 0-1 with 3 saves on the year, a 5.22 ERA, appearing in his 19th game. Has thrown 20 2/3 innings, giving up 13 runs, 12 earned on 21 hits, 16 strikeouts, and 15 walks. Final line for Jordan Pennell. Pennell went 2 innings, gave up 2 runs, both earned on 2 hits, a walk, and no strikeouts through 33 pitches in his outing today. Zach Groats warming up in the bullpen for your Washington Wild Things for the 9th. But coming up to lead off the top of the 9th is Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez 2 for 3, singled in the first, singled in the second, struck out in the 5th, and was hit by a pitch in the 7th. First pitch, and that one's a called strike. No balls and a strike on the Wild Things third baseman. 0-1 the count, 5-3 Wild Things lead. Simmons set the 0-1. And Rodriguez grounds it to short. Alfredo Rodriguez bobbles it, and he's not going to recover. So Ricky Rodriguez reaches base to lead things off here in the 9th inning. More than likely going to give an error to Alfredo Rodriguez on that one as he went for the backhand, couldn't make the play. And actually, they're not giving Rodriguez an error. So it's a base hit for Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez's 3rd hit of the day as he reached on the infield single. Alfredo Rodriguez went to backhand that one. and booted it, couldn't make the play. So Ricky Rodriguez now at first to lead things off. Chris Grayson at the plate. Grayson so far 0 for 4. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Grayson has reached base once today, however, reached on fielder's choice. His last time up is also struck out, popped out, and grounded out. Here's the 1-0. And Grayson towards short. Rodriguez to second for 1 on to first. And it's in time for the double play. That leadoff single erased. 6-4-3 on the double play. And there are now 2 outs here in the ninth. And that brings up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far 0 for 2. Ground out in the first. Strikeout in the third. Walked in the fifth and hit a sacrifice fly in inning number 7. 2 outs, top of the ninth. Wild Things lead 5-3. Simmons set. Here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Dave Popkins. Out in right field for your Wild Things. Here's the 0-1. And a swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on the Wild Things right fielder. Simmons has his sign, the 0-2. And this one's fouled away back into the seats. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on Dave Popkins. The game was actually delayed an hour today as we had storms roll through the area earlier this morning. Started at 12:05 Eastern Time. The Wild Things now leading 5-3, and there's a swing and a miss. Popkins strikes out, and that will end the inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, and nobody left on. Going to the bottom of the ninth, and your Wild Things lead this one 5-3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the ninth, and your Wild Things lead this one 5-3. Pitching change for your Washington Wild Things is coming into this one is closer Zach Groats. Groats 0-2 on the season, 8 saves, a 1.56 ERA. Appearing in his 20th game, has thrown 23 innings of work, giving up 4 runs, all earned on 15 hits, 8 walks, and 27 strikeouts for the right-hander from your Washington Wild Things. Final line on Devin Davis. Davis went 2 innings, gave up no runs, no earned on 2 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts for the left-hander through 40 pitches in his outing. Due up to face Zach Groats here in the bottom of the ninth. 9-1-2, Phil Bates, Charlie White, and Alfredo Rodriguez facing off against Zach Groats. Last inning, the Joliet Slammers threatened but did not score as Mark Flores struck out to start things, and Rock Shoulders and Jake Gronsky back-to-back hits, a single for Shoulders and a double for Gronsky. Fletcher and Rodriguez would then strike out looking to end the inning. Next Wild Things game tomorrow night, 8:05, first pitch, right back here at Silver Cross Field in Joliet, Illinois. Game 3 of a 3-game series as Matt Frauden takes the mound for your Washington Wild Things. Frauden will be opposed by Caleb Ort. Phil Bates making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the ninth with his team down by 2. Bates on the day is 0 for 3. Struck out in the second, reached on an error in the fifth, and struck out in inning number 7. So Zach Groats on, looking for his 9th save of the season here against Joliet. Groats looks into Alex McKeon after he goes through his routine. Now he's ready. He looks into McKeon, has his sign in the pitch. And that one's a called strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Phil Bates, the number 9 hitter in this Joliet order. Here's the 0-1. Bates fouls this one away into the seats, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Phil Bates, Wild Things looking to get the series win today. Groats set in the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Groats strikes him out, and there's one away here in the bottom of the ninth. With one out, that'll bring up the center fielder, Charlie White. White so far is 0 for 3. Grounded out in the first, was hit by a pitch in the second, flew out in the fifth, and flew out in inning number 7. Charlie White, the leadoff man, with one out in the bottom of the ninth. Wild Things lead 5-3. Groats looking for the save. Groats looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And this one's on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count to Charlie White. Groats looking in. Has his sign. He's set in the 0-1. And this ball grounded towards second. Justin Fox charging. He has it. Throw to first. And not in time. An infield single. Nice try by Justin Fox, but not able to make the play as Charlie White reaches with one man out. There's a runner on. That'll bring up the shortstop, Alfredo Rodriguez. Rodriguez in this one 0 for 2. Walked and scored a run in the first. Popped out in the second. Grounded out in the fifth. And walked in inning number 7. Runner at first and one man out here in the bottom of the ninth. Zach Groats on the mound for your Wild Things. As Charlie White takes his lead from first. Groats checks him. Has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. This ball grounded right back to the mound. Groats knocks it down to second for 1 on to first. And not in time for the double play. The throw gets by Uxa. But luckily, it'll bounce right back to him, so Rodriguez will not move up. Fielder's choice for Rodriguez, 1-6 on the putout, as Charlie White is taken out at second base. And with 2 outs, last chance here, the second baseman, Carter Bell. Bell on the day is currently 0 for 4. Flew out in the first, reached on an error in the third, flew out in the fifth, and flew out in inning number 7. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Wild Things lead by 2. It's 5-3. Groats looking for save number 8 on the season. It's Alfredo Rodriguez at first as he replaced Charlie White there after hitting into the fielder's choice. Groats' pitch, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Carter Bell, the second baseman, one of the all-stars for the Joliet Slammers. Groats has his sign. He's set, the 1-0. This ball grounded to third, and it's into left field for a base hit. Carter Bell reaches on the 2-out single. There are now runners at first and second with 2 away, and that brings up the first baseman, Mark Flores. Flores representing the go-ahead run. Flores on the day so far is 1 for 4. Singled and scored a run in the first, hit into a 6-3 double play in the third, grounded out in the sixth, and struck out in inning number 8. Zach Groats on the mound facing Mark Flores. Runners at first and second. Alfredo Rodriguez at second. Carter Bell at first. Groats looking in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks second. Here's the pitch. Flores takes a strike. No balls and a strike. Groats gets ahead of him. 0-1 the count on Flores. Groats struck out Phil Bates to start things, and a single to Charlie White. A fielder's choice by Alfredo Rodriguez. And then Carter Bell reaching on the single. Groats has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1. And this ball hit the left field. Coming in is Grayson on the run, and he will make the catch. And that is out number 3. You can put it in the books. Your Wild Things win. Final score, Wild Things 5, Joliet Slammers 3, as they've taken the first 2 here in Joliet, Illinois. Keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network. Up next, the Washington Wild Things postgame show. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
This is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Final score in this one, your Washington Wild Things win it 5-3. Zach Groats gets his 9th save of the year. The win goes to Chase Cunningham. Cunningham improves to 3-4. The loss going to Jordan Pennell in this one. Pennell falls on the season to 0-1. The Washington Wild Things pulling out the win here against the Joliet Slammers. Scoring recap here for you, as the Joliet Slammers would jump on the board early here in this one. In the bottom of the first, Charlie White grounded out to start things. Then Alfredo Rodriguez walked. Carter Bell would then fly out, and Mark Flores would single. There'd be runners at first and second with 2 away. And Rock Shoulders drove in the first run of the game. An RBI single that scored Alfredo Rodriguez and gave Joliet a 3-0 lead. Then Jake Gronsky, a 2 RBI double, scored both Shoulders and Flores and made it 3-0 Joliet. Casey Fletcher would fly out to end the inning. That's actually the only offense that Joliet would muster on the day. The Wild Things responded in the top of the second. Grant Fink to walk to lead things off. Then Logan Uxa, an RBI triple, driving in Grant Fink and making the score 3-1. Then Alex McKeon was hit by a pitch, so runners with the corners with nobody out. Justin Fox would strike out looking, and then Austin Wobrock, an RBI single that scored Logan Uxa and made the score 3-2. Then Andrew Heck, next batter, a sacrifice fly, scored Alex McKeon and made the score 3-3. Ricky Rodriguez would add a single, and Chris Grayson would ground out before the inning would end. Then the Wild Things jumping back on the board. It was 3-3 all the way up until the 7th inning of this one. Both starters going 6 innings, giving up 3 runs. For Shane Bryant for the Joliet Slammers, went 6, gave up 3 runs, all earned on 7 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts through 108 pitches in his outing against the Wild Things today. Wild Things would respond in the top of the 7th as Andrew Heck walked to start things. Then Ricky Rodriguez was hit by a pitch. Chris Grayson would hit into a fielder's choice to put runners at first and third with 1 man out before Dave Popkins, a sacrifice fly that scored Andrew Heck and made the score 4-3 Wild Things. Grant Fink would fly out to end the inning. That gave Cunningham the run support he needed. Cunningham went 6, gave up 3 runs, all earned on 4 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts through 99 pitches in his outing today. The Wild Things would then respond in the top of inning number 8 as Logan Uxa started things off with a double, his 3rd hit of the day. Then Alex McKeon, trying to sacrifice himself, ended up getting a bunt single. Justin Fox would then hit a sacrifice fly that scored Logan Uxa from 3rd and made the score 5-3. Austin Wobrock would fly out, and Andrew Heck would get robbed of a base hit to end the inning. Devin Davis, 2 scoreless innings of relief. He threw 40 pitches in his 2 innings of work, and Zach Groats came in for the 9th inning. Got into a little bit of trouble late as he struck out Phil Bates to lead things off, then gave up a single to Charlie White. Alfredo Rodriguez would then hit into a fielder's choice, replacing White before Carter Bell would single, and then Mark Flores flew out to end the game. Zach Groats collecting his 9th save of the year. The wing going to Chase Cunningham. He goes to 3-4. The loss to Jordan Pennell. Pennell falls to 0-1. Next game for your Washington Wild Things is tomorrow night, 8:05 first pitch here at Silver Cross Field. Game 3 of the 3-game series. The Wild Things look to sweep the Joliet Slammers. Matt Frauden takes the hill for your Wild Things. He will be opposed by Caleb Orton. Your Wild Things creep 1 game closer to first place. Now 2 games back of these first place Joliet Slammers, and this series has been everything you've wanted for the Wild Things. They've come in and take care of business so far in this series, winning the first 2 games, looking for the sweep tomorrow night. Final score in this one, 5-3. Your Wild Things player of the game here today, again, really has to go to Logan Uxa. Uxa 3 for 4, again an RBI triple in the 2nd inning. Also single, double, and scored a run on the day and grounded out. Uxa having a very good series against Joliet. He gets his 2nd straight Washington Wild Things player of the day. Uxa at the plate, 3 for 4 in both games. Currently 6 for 8 in the series here against Joliet. Remember, tune in tomorrow night, 8:05 first pitch. Matt Frauden and Caleb Ort as your Washington Wild Things look to sweep the first place Joliet Slammers. But the final score in this one, Wild Things 5, Joliet 3. Have a good day, everybody.